2-man crew. Great job hitting the button, Slender.
I did it. I hit the go live button.
Slender is enjoying
I pushed the button.
the privileges that come with being able to have access to the streaming platform account. So good for him. He pushed the button, which also means he can end it. If we get really heated, he can just be like, "I'm taking my ball and going home." Oh, and we got a really fun show tonight. We got a lot of content that we're going to talk about. We got Super Mario Brothers to talk about. We've got Rey Palpatine somehow returning. Somehow she returned.
Wait. Now you're saying Palpatine too? Is this
Palpatine,
like we're going back to the
Palpatine.
Constantine thing?
No, I'm messing with you. It's Palpatine. For Star Wars, it's Palpatine.
Yes, it is.
We were going to do we weren't here last week, so we didn't do episode 7 of Picard season 3, which was by all counts kind of probably the weakest. But we are going to have now episode 8 as well, if Slender has actually seen it. So we'll try that. We'll see what happens.
Well, I already told you I haven't seen episode 8, but I mean, if you want to talk about it to a certain extent with, without ruining the whole thing, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we could do it. Yeah, I was trying to be, I was not trying to let everyone in on the background conversations that happen backstage.
Listen, okay, one of the things that we have always been is very transparent with our audience.
we're about as
There's
transparent
very little
as possible.
that happens behind stage that doesn't make its way out into our podcast.
No, I really like that about us, that we just are like, yeah, this is what happens. Like last week we weren't on because I had to try to take ownership on our StreamYard's account because we hadn't done that before. So that we ran into the limit. When you're on the free StreamYards, you get like 5 hours of recording, and the paid one gives you 50. And so we had that, and I guess the subscription ended. So all of a sudden it was like, you're over by 40 hours. So I would have to cut everything or do some background work, which is why we were not there last week. But we're back now, and we've got, I think, good stuff to come back and talk about. First, I think the thing that's blown up right now, and it's really blown up, is Super Mario Brothers. The box office projections have gone off the chain. Like when this thing was opening on Wednesday, even after it opened bigger than expected, the projection was still for a 5-day total of 140 million. And as you can see from the headline, Slender, they have drastically changed the projection to 195 million 5-day, with it having the possibility of going over 200 million for the 5-day period. And the reason they're doing that is because it's open on Wednesday and it's an Easter weekend, which is kind of a holiday weekend. A lot of kids are out on spring break for this week that just ended. Some kids are going out on spring break next week. School systems across the country kind of do it one way or the other. But Mario is going to just hoover up that money for the next few weeks, it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree that it is clearly very popular, and we all knew that Mario was going to, his milkshake was going to bring all the nerds to the yard, but
But it's a kid's movie too, and I took my son to it opening day because he was super excited and had me promise to take him once it opened. And I was happy to actually take him to this movie because I wasn't worried like it would be a Disney movie and there would be content I'd be worried about. And it was
right.
What's that?
I haven't seen anything terribly wrong with the movie other than the, with everything other than the character of Peach. And the only thing I'm saying is I'm seeing a lot of the usual players give this movie a pass and say how great it is. And I'm like, if there was a character like Peach in anything that you didn't love this much, you would be crucifying it.
No, because
so why is it so different with Peach? No one has explained that to me.
Peach does not girl boss her way into solving the problem without Mario. Without Mario's involvement in the movie, in the story, her Mushroom Kingdom gets decimated.
You have very different takes on that, because Yeti said Well, you know, come to think of it, if Mario wasn't in this movie, not a whole lot would have changed.
That I think Yeti is incorrect. Not to get into spoiler territory, because I think this movie is going to be very popular and people will want to see it. But in the middle, there's a distinct action that requires Mario's participation to move the narrative story forward. And at the end, Mario is
Okay, here's my question then.
the hero. Yes.
Does Mario do something that Peach couldn't?
Yes.
Does he?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll be interested to see what that
because I think when they show Peach, the way Peach's character is developed in the movie, there's no way she would have taken the action Mario did that led to the narrative moving forward as it did. I'm talking around it so I don't give it away because it's a pretty distinct. It's in the trailer, so I'll put it this way. So in the trailer, we see that Mario has a fight with Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
The steps that lead to that fight are because of Mario, and it would not have happened without him.
Oh, that's the other worst part. Like this is me not being able to separate the art from the artist to a certain extent, but I absolutely, with like a deep seething rage, hate Seth Rogen. When I hear his voice, it gives me heart palpitations because I just immediately have a desire to destroy everything around me. Like, the dude disgusts me in every sense of the word. His voice disgusts me. His attitude disgusts me. His face disgusts me. I hate Seth Rogen.
I can get that. Seth Rogen is a frustrating
He's human
person.
excrement is what he is. Like, he's a pathetic human being.
Yep. I think it's a shame because Seth Rogen had, he was, when he came onto the scene, he was doing pretty well. I think he was playing parts that suited him.
Yeah, he was funny for about 5 minutes.
I'm not going to lie. When Knocked Up came out, I enjoyed that movie. It made me laugh pretty good. And it's funny because both of the leads in that movie are not likable people. Because all this was a Katherine Heigl. There's tons of stories that came out after that movie about how she was just a terrible, terrible person. Like, just the worst to be around. Mistreated people, was mean, diva behavior, that kind of stuff. Seth Rogen, on the other hand, I don't know that I've heard anything about like behavior on set where he's done that, but he's just been a jerk in terms of comments he's made in public. I think there was an exchange that I remember from a couple years back where he was telling people that they should just put up with having their cars broken into because that's what happens. I think, was it in LA?
Yep.
And yeah, that one was kind of off-putting. Like, all right, that I feel like we're not really being good people by telling them to, like, hey, let's people violate your rights and steal your property just because it's LA. And that's how things go in LA.
It is funny though, since we're also talking about some of the Star Wars news. It's funny. I've noticed that they try to take the most reviled actors in Hollywood and balance them against Jack Black lately. Have you noticed that?
Let's see. So Jack Black was playing Bowser.
Yep.
And now Jack Black was in The Mandalorian.
Yep. And who did they
with
pair
Lizzo?
Him
with? Lizzo.
I was like, holy shit! Jack Black married a Hutt. Oh no, wait, that's Lizzo. She's way fatter than a Hutt.
Well, to be fair, Jack Black's not exactly looking so great. I mean, I made a comment. I think it was on the Wednesday dump that Jack Black is starting to resemble more and more the characters from the Tropic Thunder fake trailers, the Fats or whatever family he was. He is starting to inflate pretty good.
Mean, he's always been a big dude, like
maybe
not like a muscular way. He's always been a little bit overweight,
Yeah, I think the Mandalorian costumes probably didn't do him much favors.
No,
because
I don't think it did.
They definitely accentuated his portliness. Now that might have been because he was framed next to Lizzo, and so they wanted to kind of. The only way to try to minimize Lizzo is to try to maybe enhance Jack Black. But so I don't know if I agree with that, because I think some people might also construe your words to speak about how they paired him with Chris Pratt, because Chris Pratt to some people is off-putting. I don't agree with it. I think they're people with their heads up their butts, but
I
because
was going
Chris
to say,
Pratt,
who, when you say some people, I think you mean people of a particular ideological or political persuasion.
I think we can be given my comic strip, we can just call them the Aunt Karens. The Aunt
Yes.
Karens are the ones who are anti Chris Pratt.
Yeah, yeah. Because Chris Pratt seems like just an all around good dude, too.
Yep. He does. I mean, he doesn't seem like he's ever done anything off putting to me. Now, I have traditional regular values, and so maybe that's why nothing he's done has bothered me. I suppose if I had, hippy dippy, crazy Aunt Karen values, that could be a problem. But who knows?
It's a thing. I don't know.
I I was worried about his voice acting for Mario Brothers.
See, I haven't heard any complaints about his voice acting, really. I've heard that the stuff they chose to put in the trailer was probably not great, but like overall he did okay.
Yeah, so he goes for more of a New York just accent,
Mm-hmm.
and that works because they're supposed to be, Brooklyn plumbers in this context, and so they're at the very beginning of the movie, that commercial that they air that people have seen, spread on social media, where they use the Super
The
Mario
Super
Brothers
Mario
theme.
Brothers Super Show song?
Yeah, which is a great touch. It's a perfect touch. He does a traditional Mario voice, like, it's a me, Mario. Like, because I think they're highlighting the Italianness in the commercial on purpose. So it's a nice touch there. It works. But I also, hearing it and then seeing the whole movie, I'm of the opinion now that, especially, there were people who wanted Charles Martinet to do the voice for Mario. Like the same people who would have argued back when Transformers came out about getting Peter Cullen to do Optimus Prime, just because that's the person who's done the voice for everything for years.
Here's the problem with the
But
idea of getting Charles
yeah, that voice
Martinet.
doesn't hold up in conversation, I think.
That's the thing. It's like it is very different voice acting a character in a game than voice acting a character in a movie, let alone a character in a movie who is going to be having a lot of back and forth conversations. Like I'm not saying that Charles Martinet, doesn't have the acting chops to do it or anything, but like it's a different kind of voice acting,
Exactly. And having fun, like little quips in a game where you're going, it's a me, Mario, or woohoo, is fine. But none of the Mario games have ever had speech, like where Mario is giving monologues. So there's a reason for that, because I think it just doesn't work. You also want Mario to kind of be a little more, ambiguous in terms of voice acting, and that works.
Yeah, and if you've got how long is this movie?
About 90 minutes. It's a nice,
Yeah. If
fast
you've
paced
got a
kids
whole
movie.
90-minute film with that Mario voice, you're gonna get sick of it in about 15 minutes.
Yep.
Like
So,
it's the truth.
no, and that's where it came down. Like, having watched the movie, I do agree that was probably the right creative choice to take. I think giving him like the New York accents to, because they're supposed to be from Brooklyn, so him and Louis. Now Charlie Day doesn't. He's still just kind of doing his voice. There's a little bit of an attempt at the accent, but at a certain point, his voice is just Charlie Day voice, and it's hard to kind of convert that. Yeah, and people who've watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I think, know what I'm talking about. His voice, it's very comedic. It kind of works. It actually works pretty good for Luigi. I think he tries a little bit to do an accent, but it still comes off more as Charlie Day. It's weird to say that Chris Pratt was a better voice actor in that context, but he does. He was able to do a little bit more of the accent, more solid than Charlie Day was. Anna Taylor-Joy as Peach, voice acting wise, was fine. I actually thought that Keegan-Michael Key did a good job as Toad. The voice, I mean, and Jack Black as Bowser was really good. Like he actually tried, was doing a Bowser voice, and it came off really good. So the voice acting was really good. Now, the real highlight for the movie in terms of like the sound design is how they use the sound effects from the games. They use the music from the games. They use audio cues from basically all the Nintendo stuff you've ever seen with Mario. Like when a Kamek shows up, the sound for his magic sounds just like the Super Nintendo, I think, was it Super Mario World?
Yeah, when he fires the PlayStation button.
That noise when the magic comes at you from the Kamek.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It has audio, like they use the use of sound in this movie is amazing because they really give you, if you're a Mario fan, and I think most kids nowadays are. I don't think, because the Switch is probably one of the most popular systems for kids, if not the most popular for kids. I know that PlayStation 5, Xbox, they may outsell it as a total, but I'm talking about for like under 12-year-olds who are
Here's
gaming.
The thing. PlayStation 5 and Xbox do outsell it sometimes, but if you remember the Nintendo Wii, that thing freaking dominated the console war. Like,
it sure did.
Nintendo doesn't sell as many consoles as consistently, but they get some real bangers that just dominate the market. And on top of that, their consoles usually cost less, so they've got less overhead. Like Nintendo does very well. They're kind of the sleeping giant of the industry.
Exactly, and plus Nintendo captures you. I think this is important. Like Nintendo captures kids who grow up and become gamers who, even when they play other games, still have a love of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, I still play Nintendo games now.
Dude, I bought a Nintendo Switch solely for the purpose of picking up Breath of the Wild. And that was a, as far as I'm concerned, sound investment. That game was amazing.
I think, and
that's why I'm hoping the Super Mario Brothers movie, even though I think it doesn't look as good as everybody is making it out to be. I hope to be proven wrong, but I'm not going to go see it in theaters. I'm hoping that its great success maybe paves the way for a Legend of Zelda movie, because
you should go
that I would
see
be first in line in the theater to see.
Now, you want to talk about controversy? Just wait till they actually cast a voice actor for Link, because as far as I know, there's never been actual voice acting for Link.
You never saw the old cartoon? Well, excuse me, princess.
It's funny you say that, because after the Super Mario Brothers movie, my son saw that. I have that on the Plex server from the DVD set I had of it, and he had me play it. And he actually enjoyed it. So 8-year-olds are A-okay with that version of of Link. But yeah, aside from 1989, 88 or 89 Super Mario Brothers Super Show on Fridays, because that's when the Legend of Zelda episode would air, there's been no voice actor for Link. I mean, in all the games, there's never, am I wrong? Has there ever been a voice actor for Link?
I mean, kinda. But I mean, what does the voice actor for Link do? He goes, yeah, ha, yeah. Those are all the noises.
Yeah, so he makes the sword noises.
Basically.
But no one who actually delivers lines.
No one has ever delivered lines, really. So it would be that would be interesting. You'd probably have to get a bit of a younger voice actor, because Link is an elf, so usually, he's probably going to have that more melodic voice. You don't want to make a dark and gritty Link. You don't want.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, I think depending on the timeline, and God knows, this is another thing I started talking about with my wife. Like, where and what on the timeline would they start with for a Zelda movie? the Zelda
Well, and that'd be
timeline
the
is
interesting thing, because
the
there
Zelda
are
timeline
some
is the most complicated video game timeline of any game story that's ever been made.
it's less complicated if you start calculating in the fact that they've got a multiverse thing going.
Yeah, there's the good timeline, the bad timeline, the hero like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
There's the timelines where Ganon is defeated, and then there's a string theory thing where it breaks off, and it's like, well, this is the timeline where Ganon was defeated. This is the timeline where the hero of time was defeated. Like, so you get some interesting spin-offs there. But I mean, it's not that complicated, really. It's not unlike the comic book movies, you know. They had a much bigger pool to draw from for the comic book movies, and they found stuff.
Oh yeah, I feel like they should probably go with Skyward Sword. I know that they'll probably, if they're doing, because looking at the Mario Brothers movie,
Mm-hmm.
the storyline and the aesthetics definitely look like they lifted it right from Mario Odyssey,
Right.
which I think was probably the most recent Mario game when they went into development of this movie.
Okay.
Which would lead me to think that if they're doing a Zelda one, they would probably do Breath of the Wild, which has been incredibly successful. They're doing a sequel to it that's coming out this year. I mean, I'm not going to say that that's a bad choice. I don't even know where in the timeline is Breath of the Wild. Is that like the furthest out? Is that the end point of the timeline? I don't.
I'd have to look it up to be sure, but my understanding is that Breath of the Wild is one of the furthest out timelines. It's following a lot of other stuff, and it is one of the bad timelines. It is a timeline where Ganon won. So
yeah. So
the whole point, and there's a really good story there, so it could be very interesting. I think a Breath of the Wild one would be probably pretty interesting. It might be fun to make a Link to the Past. Another interesting one could be the Twilight Princess saga. So there's a lot of different places where they could make some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I think I would say I think Skyward Sword is technically I think the very first in the timeline.
I don't know. I never played Skyward Sword.
It's actually it got a bad rap. It's pretty good.
It's one of the ones that missed me.
Yeah, it came out on the Wii, and a lot of people. It was the first one that had the full-on motion controls because people forget that Twilight Princess was actually a GameCube developed Zelda game. And
Yeah, but Twilight Princess did have motion controls.
Yeah, they added it at the end, but it was easy to kind of circumvent them.
Oh yeah,
definitely. To use the regular control. Skyward Sword was ground up like a Nintendo Wii game, so the motion controls were really ingrained in what you were doing, and I think people didn't like that. Zelda is kind of a deep action RPG kind of game, not RPG in the sense of like a Japanese turn-based one, but more just because you do level up, you quest, you get. I mean, that I kind of think of it as an RPG style story game.
Yeah, you're right. Skyward Sword is the very beginning of the timeline, which rolls into Minish Cap, Four Swords, and Ocarina of Time, and that's where the timelines. Once Ocarina of Time happened, that's where the timeline breaks into the hero is defeated and the hero is successful.
I'll tell you which one I don't think will ever be the movie is Majora's Mask. That one is it's a really well done Zelda game, but it's not really conducive to being a movie. It's kind of just
it'd be a really dark movie.
It's an exploration of the themes of grief. So it's not going to be as fun. I think Skyward Sword, where you're living on a floating village, you fly around on a giant eagle-ish bird, and it introduces the characters that become very important, like Impa. It brings up the first version of Zelda, and it sets the stage for Ganon being a reincarnated evil force throughout. So I feel like that's the natural starting point for the story, so that to make a movie. But I feel like they'll just jump right to Breath of the Wild and see if it's successful, and then just go forward with it. Now that we've done our Zelda tangent. Because
yeah,
I mean,
I was
honestly,
just looking at the timeline, and you've got, like I said, the timeline breaks in a couple different places based on whether or not the hero defeats Ganon or Ganon defeats the hero. But you were right. Skyward Sword is the very first one, and the timeline breaks at Ocarina of Time. It further breaks a couple of other places with Triforce Heroes and the original Legend of Zelda. There's actually a break there. And then basically all the 5 different fragments of timelines, they converge and rejoin with Calamity Ganon being sealed away with the help of the divine beasts. But then Calamity Ganon corrupts the divine beasts, mortally wounds Link, and is held within a Hyrule castle by Princess Zelda for 100 years.
so
And
that's
that's
Breath
where
of the
Breath of the
Wild.
Wild happens. And that is the reconvergence of the broken timelines.
So right there, that tells me that Nintendo was kind of planning a little bit. Because that means that Breath of the Wild is an easy starting point to converge everything and actually not have to confuse stuff.
Yeah.
Because one thing Nintendo, and you can see it in this Mario Brothers movies, I can tell you, I could see where with Peach, like your concerned character, that there would be an easy place where writers could have gone the direction you're worried about, and probably tried to initially maybe, and Nintendo threw that hammer down and said, "No, this is Peach. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it." It for me it worked. I think once you see the movie, you'll be a little more lenient on it as well, because it's not a matter of I'm letting Peach get away with things I wouldn't let other characters get away with. This is what I think a good female character in 2023 should be like. She has the capability of doing things. She still worked in partnership with Mario to achieve the goals, and Mario was integral, and without Mario the goals don't happen. So both of them are bringing things to the table. That's my thought on it.
Right.
Yeah, you're just being silent. I got it.
No, I got distracted.
Were you reading more about Zelda timelines?
I mean, I'm Legend of Zelda is my favorite one. Like I enjoyed Mario, but not as much as Legend of Zelda. A Link to the Past is still, as far as I'm concerned, like one of the best games from my childhood ever. So yeah, I get sucked in.
You know what isn't a good game was Zelda 2.
I like Zelda 2 as well.
Really?
It's the Dark Souls of the Zelda franchise. That game's freaking hard.
Zelda 2 sucks.
I enjoyed the challenge, and it wasn't more of the same with the top down. So they were trying something a little different. Did it all work? No, but I still thought it was a pretty good game, and it has one of the most iconic fights in Legend of Zelda history. Everybody seems to forget that's where Shadow Link came from. That was the first appearance of Shadow Link, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I know that just like Super Mario 2 in the US was a reskin of another game that just became Super Mario Brothers 2. I think, what was it? The Zelda 2 was also just a reskinned other game that they made the sequel because it was very far in development, so they just tweaked the the character sprites and everything to make it Zelda.
I mean, it worked. That game had some good music too. Had good music. It had some interest. Like, yeah, I can see things wrong with it as far as like what people are going for, but as a game, I still had a lot of fun with it. And I still think some of the stuff that persisted from that game throughout the story into some of the other Legend of Zeldas was really cool stuff. So I'm not going to fault it the way a lot of other people do. I don't think it's nearly as crappy as people say it is. It's hard. It is a tough game. It is probably the hardest Legend of Zelda game. like hands down. But I like that. I mean, I play Dark Souls, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the context of labeling it the Dark Souls of the Zelda franchise, I can get with it. I never actually managed to beat it. I always got frustrated and just left playing that game.
I've beat it twice, and both times, believe me, there were moments when I wanted to walk away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's Battletoads. Everybody, do you remember playing that one?
I've beat Battletoads.
You managed to get through the
bike level?
Bike level?
Oh man, I had a Nintendo Power that told me exactly what to expect, and I memorized the map.
Do you remember how awesome Nintendo Power was?
Yes, I had a subscription.
I did too. Me and my two brothers, we had a subscription in Nintendo Power, and it was the greatest thing ever. It gave you like previews of the games coming up, but it actually had walkthroughs. This was before the internet, everybody, so you couldn't just go online and search for a level walkthrough. And without those walkthroughs, some of those games, I remember like the Batman game. The Batman game was a nightmare until you got like a walkthrough. Did you ever play like the Batman 89 Nintendo adaptation?
I don't think I played that one. I mean, I might have, but I played a lot of games, and this was back when you didn't necessarily own a game to play it. You would go down to your local, movie rental place, and they had like a handful of games on one shelf in the corner, and you'd rent one for a couple days. So a lot of those games, I only played them for a day or two,
It was, the rental was like 3 days, right? You had to return it on the third day.
Something like that.
And what was worse is because you usually had to wait for your mom or dad to get home for you to go to the video store, so you wouldn't be getting it until like maybe 6 or 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then you had to go to your bedtime was probably like 10 or 11 o'clock. So
the goal was to get it on a Friday afternoon. And then you could return it on like Monday after school.
Yeah, the best thing that happened to me was a Hollywood Video opened up within walking distance of my house when I was about in 6th grade. And man, I would go there and just that, and then you could, you didn't have to wait for mom or dad. I could get it like midday during the summer. I could go like when it opened at like 11.
Yeah, I live in the country, so that wasn't an option for me. We lived 8 miles out of town. So if I wanted to go anywhere, it was 8 miles away.
Okay, Eminem.
Yeah.
8 Mile.
Pretty badass like that, except, it was 8 miles out of town in the woods and the fields with the cows and the corn and the trees. Wasn't no trailer park.
It's a good thing that video games didn't require always being online back then.
No, God, no. Never would have been able to play.
There was a funny joke.
We've got a Yeti in the back.
Oh, yay.
Yeti's right. Yeah.
There we go. Welcome, Yeti. So we were talking about Mario Brothers, and I guess we had slight disagreement on Peach. Not getting into spoilers.
Bitch. I can't believe you disagreed with me. I'm about to come over.
No. No, it was. But overall, you agree it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
So see, I think, and look at that box office number. It's gonna make the Disney shit that's been coming out look so ridiculous when it makes like $200 million its opening.
The animation alone is worth seeing it. Like it is so well done in that regard. Like it's just a feast for the eyes.
Illumination does great. Like my son really got into the Grinch movie they made a couple years back, and the animation in that is really like when you watch it as an adult. When you have to watch things over and over because your young child does that. you really start looking for like, hey, I want to pick things apart. But I started like noticing like the Grinch's fur is actually really well animated and actually moves naturally. And it's like, oh my god, I'm noticing how amazing this animation is. Like even the snow animation, and Illumination carries that over into now the Mario stuff.
Did Illumination do The Incredibles?
No, was
that's
Pixar.
That's Pixar.
So,
okay,
Illumination.
I know Pixar, like they're pretty good too, because apparently there was a meme back in the day with The Incredibles 2 and why it was taking so long for them to finish it, and like they computer generated the fuzz on a sweater.
Yeah, I mean that's back when I think was it John Lasseter was still there and actually made sure they made quality product.
Yeah.
So,
that's. I mean, Illumination's pretty much the gold standard these days.
So Illumination's first movie was Despicable Me.
Mm-hmm,
that's why the Minions are their kind of logo, part when Illumination comes on. They've done Despicable Me. They did the Minions movies, which were the spinoff. They did The Secret Life of Pets 1 and 2. They've done, I think, Sing, and Sing 1 and 2 are Illumination.
I've seen all of these.
I don't like their human characters. I find them so off-putting. Like, and I don't know. In Despicable Me, I really don't like the human characters. I know they're especially trying to avoid the uncanny valley, but just the way that they design humans, it's really exaggerated forms of it's like, okay, top heavy, bottom heavy, stuff like that.
Yeah, they're caricatures.
Noses especially are the way Illumination. The human characters always have that kind of distinct nosy animated thing where it's, and Illumination is based out of France. And so it's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think it's a very European styling of, like, when you read a lot of comic books and animation stuff and cartoons, European styling, you can see the difference, like with the stuff that came that comes out of there, like Smurfs. Smurfs came out of Belgium and is a European.
I mean, could you choose something that's a little more this generation?
Well, hey, they made a Smurfs movie just a couple of years ago. I don't know if anyone watched it.
Well, the thing is, European
Smurfs was like a decade ago when they did a live action movie.
Outside of Illumination, European animation hasn't really done anything lately that has been available.
Oh, Waifu was a French one that was just an awesome cartoon. It is so well done.
Yeah, I mean, at least I didn't do like Ulysses, whatever from the 1980s.
Waifu? Here, I'm going to try and find it.
I was going to say, did he say waifu? Because
it was Wakfu.
Oh, I've seen Wakfu. Wakfu is pretty cool.
Yeah, like their animation for that is fantastic. It's very stylistic and everything looks clean and the story's good. I totally forgot where we're going on that one.
Basically we're summing up that Illumination really takes, and here's the fun part, they also do it cheaper. Like the budget on the Mario movie is about $100 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but then you realize that the budget for Lightyear was like $225 million.
Oh,
and I don't think
they had to pay for all the dye employees.
That's true. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. It does require a lot of management level people, so who aren't actually animating anything.
Yeah,
but
they just tell you how it's problematic, and then you have to change everything.
Well, there's probably 3 managers per animator. So that
let's hold off on the DEI discussions, because that's from when we talk about Wizards of the Coast.
Oh yeah, that's going to be coming up too.
Boy. I got a lot to say about that one.
So Super Mario Brothers is going to be like 200 million. I think it's going to go over 200 million for its 5-day at this point, because Friday today came in at 59, which was way higher than they expected.
It's a fucking animated Mario movie. Like, it's gonna do good. I think I just can't imagine it not doing well, you know?
And it unlocked, and I can, like, I told Slender when we first started the show, when I took my son to this movie, I had no reservations that he was going to see anything I was worried about that I would have
Oh,
to
yeah.
explain. And so there's a whole segment of America that wants to take their kids to see movies who hasn't been seeing a lot of movies, who are going to take their kids to this probably multiple times. When kids really enjoy a movie, you end up taking the, like, repeat viewing is something that really gets unlocked when you get a kid who gets obsessed with a movie.
Oh,
And
that
so,
was like the original Frozen. That hit that. Like Frozen really hit that market.
yeah, and I can't. The last time I'm trying to think of a Disney movie where I felt comfortable taking him to see it.
Tangled.
Well, he wasn't born yet, so.
Well, I guess you could have taken him to see it, but that was the last decent movie they made.
No, that was just Chad going, trying to get a waifu.
Well, I was with my wife when it came out, so it was. I already had my waifu, so I was good
that's
there.
why she was so jealous of you, or jealous.
Big Hero 6 wasn't a problem. That was when he was right born then, so we didn't take him to movies. But Big Hero 6 was a pretty decent one.
Yeah.
What came out after that? I think Incredibles 2 came out after that, and so I was okay with that one.
Yeah, Incredibles 2 was after that.
That was 2018, so that one was okay.
I can't honestly, I can't think of anything that they've done that I thought was good in a long time now. It's aside from the Incredibles and Big Hero 6.
Like I said, I think the last thing that they did that I actually liked was Tangled, as far as like the mainline Disney stuff.
All right, so I'm looking. Here we go. We had
Irv.
Moana came out in 2016.
Oh, Moana wasn't bad.
Yeah, Finding Dory was that year. Actually, in 1 year they released Zootopia, Finding Dory, and Moana,
okay.
and all three of those were okay. Incredibles 2 was 2018. That was fine. Ralph Breaks the Internet was a piece of shit, and so
I didn't see that.
That was just because the movie was terrible. There was like nothing.
You're not missing
bad.
out on anything, Yeti. It was absolute garbage.
And I do remember really enjoying the first, but I don't know. There's
something. Don't let the second one ruin it for you.
Yeah, there was something that's like I don't feel like I need more. It's like I've watched Wreck-It Ralph a bunch of times. I think I even watched it after that second one was released, but I just didn't care to go see the second one, Like it just, I guess it kind of felt unnecessary.
Dude, Wreck-It Ralph, yeah, it was a perfect standalone. Like, I'll admit it, right? Like, I get a little misty at the end of Wreck-It Ralph every time I watch it.
Yeah, it was like perfect.
Like
when when he's giving his speech.
I mean, they're manly tears that are welling up in the eyes, and I never let any of them come out. Obviously, that was
you pull them back in because you're a man. Yeah.
Punch myself in the dick a couple times so that I can say I'm crying because of the pain.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't see a need for a second movie. It's like, you guys wrap this one up well. We're good. We're done.
Okay, so here it is, because Toy Story 4 came out in 2019. So everything you're worried that Peach is in this movie is what Bo Peep was in Toy Story 4. So that's your girl boss taking over and just being obnoxious.
Like I didn't even go see Toy Story 4. I still haven't. And I think it was because like Toy Story 3 wrapped it up so perfectly.
I thought Toy Story 3 was perfect. It was when with Andy taking the time to, introduce like his toys to the girl he was giving them to. And then when Woody chooses to stay with the toys instead of going with Andy.
Yeah.
And then Andy actually hands over Woody and he gets emotional giving Woody to the girl because he's giving his childhood to her. It was a perfect, and that's where it should have left. Then what happens in Toy Story 4 is you find out that girl didn't appreciate at all. Like when he's giving Woody to her and she ends up throwing him in the closet and not caring about him. It's like that actually shits on Toy Story 3 so hard. Like it pissed me off.
Toy Story 3 was so well done. It made me feel bad about the toys that I know are boxed up. I'm like, oh my God, do I go open this up?
I'm going to be honest. So after Toy Story 3 and watching it with my son who was younger, I was a toy collector and I kept things boxed. I was like, no, this is wrong. And I opened up all my boxed toys and I let my son play with them and he loves them. It's like, and I was like, I know all my value is gone now, but it's like, I see much joy he's getting. And
but isn't that like, that is how powerful that story was and how well it was wrapped up. The fact that like, it made you feel for the collectibles you had is like, I can't have them in a box anymore. Like that is so.
You want to talk about getting emotional at the end when they were fighting against, and this isn't Toy Story 3, when they were fighting against getting into the incinerator.
Yes,
and they realized that there's not really anything coming to help them. And they instead of fighting, they all just hold hands and decide to be with each other.
But here's the honest truth, right?
That was great storytelling.
Those toys made out well. Even yours that were in the boxes, little Chad, because my toys were more handled like they were in the Lego movie.
Oh, that's because you shoved them up you shoved them up your ass. So
no, that's because I busted out the Craggle and I would put them in action poses and they would stay there forever
after being inside your ass.
Slender is like a Dungeons and Dragons villain. He's like, I cast my freezing spell on them and made them stone
forever.
I didn't like
right out of Sandlot.
I knew I was never going to try and sell them, so I didn't care about them retaining value. So I'd put them in like. I made some dioramas where I would put like the figures in various places. Yeah, dioramas.
Dioramas?
Yeah.
I believe that's diorama.
Whatever you want to call it.
I want to call it what it's properly called, which is diorama.
Are we looking this up again? Are you going to play this game with me?
It is.
Yeah, diorama. I'm playing this game with you.
We have a pronunciation wars. He says Constantine wrong, and
Constantine.
It's Constantine.
Oh shit! What was that, little Chad? What did he say?
It's Constantine.
It's Constantine. There's a reason why I and then N and then E, which changes the way you pronounce the I.
In England, where he's from, it's Constantine.
Well, that is wrong. Otherwise, the little Chad will be Lyle Chad.
We both pronounced it wrong.
Yeah, there we go.
I think I just
you looked up diorama.
It is not. It is not diorama. It is not diorama. It is diorama.
Diorama. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I call it that one. Well, the dictionary's messed up and wrong on that.
So we'll call that one a draw.
Well, I don't know. It sounded like you started saying it right at the end.
All right. Well, speaking of speaking of things that
arguing about pronunciations.
Here's something
we've done it before, and it made a good short.
Here's something that gets pronounced wrong. See, Rey likes to say her last name is pronounced Skywalker, but in reality, it's pronounced Palpatine.
Yeah,
because that's what she is. She's Rey Palpatine.
It's a silent P.
And somehow Rey Palpatine has returned. Disney decided at Star Wars Celebration today to announce that they're going to be giving a new Star Wars movie to Daisy Ridley set 15 years after Rise of Skywalker for her to restart the Jedi Order, because we have to really drive home that Luke was a piece of shit who didn't do anything right, and Rey's going to come in and do it right.
Luke rebuilt the Jedi Order.
Yeah, I remember reading
now
those
it's going to be
it's
going to be
so
Rey
well
Palpatine.
Done.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, they don't pull off any the extended universe, the expanded universe, which is now Star Wars Legends, according to Disney. Which, by the way, they keep ripping off, because in addition to this, they announced the Ahsoka series, and that Dave Filoni will be doing a movie to wrap up all of them, which is going to be Heir to the Empire. because they're going to bring Thrawn back, and then they're going to have all these factions fighting them. And instead of Luke, it's going to probably be Ahsoka, and they're going to screw that up.
So basically, the storyline everyone wanted to see from the beginning, they take away the protagonist that they wanted to see, and then shove in Ahsoka.
What do you want to bet they're going to bring Mara Jade in, and she's going to become Ahsoka's wife? And
oh god damn! Oh, fucking...
really twist the knife in deep. See,
they'll let Mara. Dave Filoni fantasizes about that.
No, like, but they're going to let Mara Jade stay a redhead just so she can marry Ahsoka.
Yeah. Like Dave Filoni at night jerks off to that idea. You know it.
Dave Filoni loves his So I originally thought Dave Filoni was pretty good with Clone Wars, and because in isolation, what he did with Ahsoka's character through the Clone Wars seasons was pretty solid. But then as he did Rebels, and then he's done Bad Batch, and then he's helped with The Mandalorian, you see that Dave Filoni can't ever get rid of his characters. What I mean by that is ones that he created, like Bo-Katan, who is one of the characters he created for Clone Wars, is now the star of Mandalorian. I don't care what anybody says at this point. If you've watched any of this season, it's the Bo-Katan show with Din Djarin, Mandalorian along for the ride, and occasional really terrible puppet work for special effects. Dave Filoni can't get enough of Ahsoka, and I think it's because he gets checks for the merchandise, because he's the creator of these characters. He probably, for everything they get merchandise, he gets a cut of as the creator. At least that's the only way I can justify it, because
I imagine like more pervy reasons.
That he's got like a body pillow for Ahsoka and a body pillow for Bo-Katan.
Oh, 100%. There is no way this dude doesn't. Like, look at his face. That dude can't pull off a cowboy hat. No. He's hiding stuff under there. There's a doll. There's a doll under his hat.
You are a strange person, Yeti.
You're telling me you don't picture him having a doll above him? Like, that's the only reason why he's wearing a...
Well, he has access to all those Disney animatronics, so who knows what he's doing.
He's making the animatronics give him a hand job.
Yeah. So they announced and what's even more interesting is the director that they announced for the Rey movie is Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. You're like, who's this person? She's a super big activist documentary kind of filmmaker.
Oh, yeah, because you know what you need for Star Wars is a documentary filmmaker.
She is actually a Canadian journalist, filmmaker, and activist.
Oh God,
that's like already. The first line on her.
Wait, you said Canadian
bio.
Journalist?
Yeah, fucking so Canadians. That's worthless.
She's a propagandist, is what you're saying.
Fucking Canadians. I'd never allowed them on my panel. Worthless piece of shit.
Yeah, so she's done like...
We know your secret, Yeti.
And you've got your shirt right there.
She's done documentary work for like Frontline, which is a PBS news show. Al Jazeera English she's worked with. She's done a lot of documentaries.
How much experience does she have in science fiction?
The answer would be...
high fantasy.
So... Here.
None.
Before you say anything more,
she's got none.
Before you say anything
she did
more,
actually. I take that back. She directed one or two episodes of Miss Marvel.
Wait, no, stop. Before you say anything more, I'm gonna make a guess about this person. Okay, it is a black lesbian woman that they picked to direct.
She is a Pakistani woman.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so a brown lesbian woman. Close enough.
Oh, I'm so close.
It says she's married to a dude with a couple kids, but is very into feminism and women. And she is known for her work in film highlighting inequalities for women. So that
I was close. Yeah. Like, that's basically a lesbian.
So she's probably going to be really fair to Luke in his contribution to the Jedi Order.
Oh,
so
I'm sure.
she married a guy with an undersized dick. That, you know, because then it's just like one step below an oversized clit, right?
If she married a Canadian man, that's a given.
Oh no, that is not truthful. Does not represent all Canadians.
You kind of walked into that one, Yeti.
Hey, I will send you a picture right now, and I am happy to. I will prove that wrong.
This is not Friday Night Tights. You will do no such thing.
No, yeah, we don't do that.
Well, I wasn't going to share it to the full stream. I was going to send it to you.
Yeah. All right. So James Mangold, who's getting his reward, and I say that in quotes, for his work on Indiana Jones, is going to get to helm a Star Wars movie set at the very beginning of the Jedi Order. And then Dave Filoni is going to be doing.
Yeah, because it sounded like that Indiana Jones movie is just gonna be gangbusters at the box office.
Did you see the trailer? Oh
yeah.
Oh, did you see the new one? No, they released a new one today.
Let's bring it up.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get copyright struck. That's what I like to do.
Well, then all you have to do is remove it.
That's true.
And then it's gone. Also, it'll be fair use. Especially giving commentary, that's legitimate fair use. And okay, as much as I'll shit on Disney is really good about letting you show trailers and stuff like that. Like they're legitimately good about fair use stuff. So if you've got a Disney product and you're doing videos like I do, they never claim it. The other companies, they go after you like hard. So there's one nice thing I'll say about Disney.
All right, so here we go. Let's see. I've got the volume. You ready?
Lucasfilm already disabled all their dislikes for this trailer too.
Yes, they did.
Likes. It came in disabled, if I had heard correctly. But just to make sure that we keep this as transformative as possible, I'm going to keep talking. Is this better or worse than the previous trailer?
So
no, but all you have to do is pause it and we talk about it.
So right off the bat, they're making it a little different because anybody who's a classic rock fan should recognize the beats that are coming in. It's Rolling Stones.
Yep.
Which is a really bad choice in music for this trailer.
I thought that was an interesting thing. Yeah, that's what I thought too. It was like, I mean, it worked.
I mean, that's going to get us copyright struck before the movie.
Honestly, that will. The music would before the video.
So there we had our introduction.
I do like that song though.
Hey, it's a good song. I don't think it works for this trailer.
Fleabag is popping up right here. So it looks like we've got I've put the closed caption on. So the professors are surprising them. It looks like a retirement party. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting the impression of from the shots that we've
vibes
seen.
Where they're trying to make it seem like, oh no, we didn't shit all over him this whole movie.
Look, they even look what looks like a clock, which is a standard retirement kind of gift.
Yeah,
it is. Like, hey, you're old. Here, count your time.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
We don't have much left, so you better keep track of it.
It's a known thing that people used to get like gold watches for their retirement.
Hey, a gold watch seems pretty cool, but not just.
Well, in that case, what are we drinking?
Same for the goddaughter.
So right there.
Look at that jaw. Shit, that's like stronger than Peyton Manning's forehead.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna say something right now, and you guys can tell me if you see it too. No, I get it. No, you remember that swimmer for Penn State,
Leah Thompson?
Yeah,
the man.
Yeah, but look at I don't know if you pull a side by side of like their faces.
Oof.
Are you seeing it now too?
I am. I'm also seeing weirdly, the Chad pictures of Squidward?
The Chad Squidward, yeah, where they give him the giant jawline.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a little of that in her face too.
I bet she's got a bigger package than Leah Thomas.
Yeti, that's a gift for you. If you do a review and roast of this trailer, you can put the screen, the side by side with Leah Thomas.
I already started working on that because I needed something after releasing my Mario video.
Yeah, so I think you should add that in there and get credit. You could
Which
get
you
100%
didn't
credit.
watch, Chad.
What, the Mario?
You didn't
Yeah.
watch it, little Chad? You didn't watch it?
Yeah.
I haven't
I
know
came
watched
by
Slender
within
did.
13 minutes and left an offering for the algorithm.
Oh.
It's only like 9 minutes long. So my videos aren't worth 9 minutes of your time in a day. Think about that.
And honestly, some of the jokes in the video that he did, these are probably some of the best jokes he's ever come up with.
I just love that Yeti basically Sarah McLachlan me. He turned his voice tone right to like, a sad puppy. Be like, it's only 9 minutes a day.
Yeah.
If you could have just like
9 minutes. 9 minutes.
In the
24 hours.
In the time you goof off watching other YouTube videos, you could have watched mine twice.
You're making my point for me now.
I know, but you should get the what's the song that she plays? In the eyes of the angel.
Yeah. The sad puppy one.
You'll get us copyright.
Oh, that one will 100%.
Oh yeah, we'll get a mad dub of it.
But you don't really have to worry that much because they just take the money from you and you're not.
We're not monetized, so yeah.
There's nothing to worry about.
We're not monetized yet.
Dad told me you found something on a train.
Oh no, was it the diary?
All right, so here's our first shot of.
That's what I picture Joe Biden like yelling about. You found the daughter's diary?
Oh, why did it?
Did he just punch a nerd with glasses in the face?
He punched what looks like a de-aged Mads Mikkelsen in the face.
A dial that could change the course of history.
A dial of destiny, if you will.
Drove your father crazy.
Okay.
Please get out of here.
First off, why do you go time travel? That's worse than Aliens.
Yeah, Aliens was pretty bad, but like the Crystal Skull was really bad.
Yeah, but I couldn't stand.
I still enjoyed the movie. You're never gonna catch me saying it was a good movie, but I enjoyed watching it.
For the first half, and then
it really fell off toward the end.
especially the final third, but second half of the movie. Like it just gets worse and worse as the more alien stuff gets added in. Where Indiana Jones was always the mystical earthbound stuff.
It was always a lot more biblical too.
It dealt with world religions because the first movie was the Ark of the Covenant for Judaism. The second movie was Hindu with the magic stones.
Yep.
Third one was the Holy Grail, so Christianity. And then we just completely went the other direction with interdimensional aliens for Kingdom of the Crystal Stone. Yeah, it's not like there's you could have done another Eastern religion. You could have done Taoism, Japanese. It would have been ripe for post-war Japan if you wanted to do that.
You go Spear of Destiny because that is tied directly into Yahtzees.
Wasn't that the video game for
Fountain of Youth? There's a lot of options.
Yeah. There's a ton of options. Fountain of Youth would have been good for that.
You know what? Or Native American. If you wanted to check some boxes, you do a Native American story.
There are plenty stories involving that too. There are a lot of historical mysticisms and artifacts that these things are tied to that you could have done better than Aliens and then time travel.
Dude, they made an amazing Indiana Jones video game at LucasArts called The Secret of Atlantis. They could have made a movie out of that shit.
I mean, yeah, you could have. Hopefully you didn't go into Aliens for that one.
No, it didn't.
Okay. Well, then I'm interested because I don't want to see Aliens with Indiana Jones.
It was literally Indiana Jones trying to find the lost city of Atlantis, and it was some pretty cool stuff. Good game.
There's so many. Oh, how about the library of what's it called?
Library of Alexandria?
Yes. That would be a good the Lost Library. that would have been good. I know they did that in like kind of Tomb Raider, but still doesn't matter. You could have your own take on that because it'd be interesting. But there's so many of these like little things throughout history that you could have explored and not gone to Dial of Destiny. Like, is that tied to anything real? I've never heard of anything.
No, this does not sound like it's tied to anything real.
Because crystal skulls, there are crystal skulls, and some of them seem to like defy ability to recreate. Like that was something that actually exists, just like all the other things in the Indiana Jones movies. Like there was something grounded, then they went, oh yeah, just aliens. I guess one of the theories with crystal skulls was it was alien made, but we won't go into that.
Is that going to have like the guy with the wild hair be like, I'm not saying it's aliens.
Yeah, basically.
But it's aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Dial of Destiny, I don't think that's related to anything that was.
I think it's made up. Yeah, it's just made
I'm
up
trying to
MacGuffin.
find something now. I'm doing some research.
Yeah.
Dial of Destiny is a made up MacGuffin. It's 100% just some goofy thing somebody in the Lucasfilm writers' room came up with in between
Which is
ruining Willow
bullshit.
and Star Wars.
Because these movies were based on realities and the excitement of discovering something that was lost that people knew about. Everybody knew about the Ark of the Covenant or
So yeah, to your point, crystal skulls were a real thing. And I think it is also noteworthy that this is the first and only Indiana Jones movie being made without George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. They have a producer credit, which is
okay. There's a bit of a theory that the actual object in the trailer bears some loose resemblance to the Antikythera mechanism, an unusual array of bronze discs and gears that was recovered from an ancient Greek shipwreck off the coast of that island in 1901. It was on the seafloor for thousands. I'll try and find a picture here in a minute. Okay. But yeah, and this is a very loose resemblance. But yeah, supposedly it might be this Antikytheran mechanism, also known as the first computer.
Yeah, but that thing had more to do with, I believe, navigation. It seemed, because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was most likely a navigational tool.
But it looks so intricate, and I think all the gears are kind of bound right now, so they don't have it working. But they've done X-rays, and you see gears and all this, and it looked like it was kind of self-functioning like a computer, which is extremely interesting. But I don't think that had anything to do with time travel. It was like something super advanced for navigation and star charts.
Yeah, I got a picture here. Let me see if I can.
You have the role and can share it now too.
Share this.
Oh, you gave him the power, but not me.
I'm only able.
I'm the co-host. You're a guest.
I only
not for
have
long.
I only have the pay. Our paid account only allows one other.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm thinking of. So and then you can. There's X-rays in it that are.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm just on Smithsonian.
Okay, did somebody just post like? You're allowing people to post links. Oh, you were okay. So it's supposed to be something helpful. I was immediately worried about spam. Yeah, so this is the device, and there's X-rays, and there's a whole bunch of gears inside, and it looks.
Yeah, but that looks nothing like what we saw in this Indiana Jones trailer.
Not at all.
Too.
Yeah, not at all.
All right.
So that seems like a bit of a reach.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you.
Stop!
Oh, wait. I just caught something that came up in the subtitles I hadn't noticed before.
Stop!
Agent Mason. So that's clearly going to be our woman of color authority figure. So that's good.
Sorry.
Oh, what do you know? She's getting the drop on Indiana Jones. stealing from him.
Oh, of course.
And there's you know what? I'm going to be honest. That is actually pretty good de-aging.
No, that's it. That's actually incredibly done de-aging.
That might be the best de-aging I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah,
because since having grown up watching Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
So
it is a device for astronomy and telling dates in relation to lunar calendars.
Yeah. So, but exceptionally advanced, especially for the times. Like they don't know fully, how it was made and how they worked out all those details, because all the other navigational tools were significantly more primitive than that one device. Anyways,
I'm not saying it's aliens, Yeti, but it's aliens.
I mean, maybe they found this next to the crystal skull.
Those interdimensional, that way we're tying all the movies together.
There were some people that were found to be like making them, so you got to make sure that you're finding the authentic ones. And it looks like the crystal skulls were chipped and made through like lasers or fine diamond work, which at the time didn't exist. But there was some thoughts that they're like being made in Belgium or something like that.
I'm just like trying to figure out like how they could take something like, I think it's definitely just an extrapolated MacGuffin that they maybe use that as a justification, but I don't think there's any lore around it being a time travel device.
And that's bullshit, because Indiana Jones, it's supposed to be there's some realism and tie to reality. There's that people know these stories and grown up with it, and all those aspects.
It's going to be a Disney crossover with the Atlantis movie. There you go. Atlantis BS.
That Atlantis movie was pretty good, though.
Yeah, I actually like that one. Michael J. Fox did pretty good.
They would never. I don't think they'd make that today.
No, that was when they decided to try to like make, that's when they abandoned making their own content for boys and just bought Lucasfilm and Disney and Marvel, and then screwed up that. Hey, did you know in the de-aging, doesn't he look younger than he even did in Last Crusade? I feel like that face looks a little bit smoother.
Yeah, he does.
And that's a problem, because if he's fighting Nazis, it has to be after Last Crusade, because the war hadn't even started yet.
Well, unless he went into the past, like as a much younger man, I don't know, started the first movie or something.
Yeah,
but I think you got to give props where it is deserved. They did a very good job on that de-aging, because I don't think we've ever seen that as good.
Yeah, I bet it's actually really hard when you do the de-aging to try to add wrinkles and actually age up that kind of de-aging.
Probably.
I think it's probably a lot easier to do a smoother face with de-aging. This looks like Harrison Ford face, more closer to like Blade Runner.
Either way, really well done.
Really
and I'm
good,
not going to nitpick that when it's so crisp,
Yep.
Let's see. And there's plenty of other real shit we can complain about.
I know, right?
There we go. Now that's that is also a digital Harrison Ford face being put on a stuntman, but with the old face. So there you go. Because we know that Harrison Ford was definitely not doing the real stunts of riding.
Oh no, he would have busted a hernia just riding the horse.
Hitler made mistakes, and with this, I will correct them all.
All right, so there's a really good shot of the MacGuffin. That does not. That looks like they might have taken that picture of what Slender was showing.
I don't buy those.
I don't even see it. No, I don't buy it.
No, what I'm saying is they might have taken that as like the loosest background for the general shape. And then
so a circle.
made it.
You're saying
Yeah, a
they
circle.
took a general
A brass
shape
circle.
of a
Yeah.
circle.
They took a circle and then they put it in a hexagon and added some more circles.
No, I was
which
the one who
clearly
told you
makes
from the
it the other
beginning.
device because
I was
that
the
thing
one-
too had a circle.
I said from the beginning it's a made up MacGuffin, and it's definitely a made up
No,
MacGuffin.
I just
No,
wanted
you
to
were
be
defending
sure,
it.
and the only thing I could find was an article pointing to that, and it feels like a stretch to me.
Yeah, see, Slender's on my side. You said it, Chad, and that is forever how it is.
Yeah, no real language on it. You know, Ms. Davis says in the chat. I'm thinking that they're probably going to try to say that it's some kind of special timekeeping, because this is definitely going to be a time
by
travel.
the interdimensional space elves.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, what
You
is?
stole it.
Oh,
Then you stole
you
it.
changed it.
And then I stole it.
Well, then we got to the part where Helena is taking girl boss credit for all the stuff that she's doing.
But
She
what
got
were the symbols
girl
supposed
boss
to
the
be?
back of that window.
Look how weak that swing. Okay, stay here for a second.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I brought it back for you to
What
talk
are these
about the
symbols supposed to be? Because
They look
I
really
mean-
small. I can't tell. Are they Roman numerals or something?
I know it almost looks like there might be a couple numbers on on the side, like
and here we get
upper
the
right. I don't
the
know.
Marvel Lucasfilm crossover. Loki's going to pop in and take it back because it's for time. Yeah, the Time Variance Authority is going to make sure that this
Oh
doesn't
God!
But-
Wouldn't it be awful if the Dial of Destiny was the thing that pulled all the different Disney universes into one
Ugh.
contiguous multiverse?
Oh my god! no.
Fucking ruin them all.
On the
Put
plus
it-
side, they
If we
can
can
ruin
get
it
them all
at
in the
once.
same barrel, then we only have to light one barrel.
Okay.
Well-
Another big issue, aside from the one that doesn't look handmade in any way, shape, or form, and
Yeah, it looks machined.
yeah, it looks very machined. This looks very unuser friendly for something that's supposed to be able to like alter time. You think you'd have a couple dials that have a very specific indicator on like, okay, this will take you back 100 years. This will take you back,
Dude,
a
you
couple
just
minutes.
can't see the little drawer that pops out on the side with the user manual.
Oh shit! Look at the side. Is that light, or is that supposed to be like electronic alien stuff on the side there?
Yeah, I've noticed that too, and I still can't because it looks like LEDs.
Yes, that looks.
I'll tell you what, it's definitely not user friendly. Like, what was it, the DeLorean, where it had the nice touch? You can set the exact date you want to go to.
I mean, like it should be put in ancient Sumerian or something like that, right? So that, and then the outside, if you could translate it, you could figure out how you would adjust the time. How this would work. When you're staring at this thing, it's like, okay, take your best guess on how you get back 40 years. There's no indication on this at all. It's a terrible design.
The remade H.G. Wells time machine doubled as an espresso machine. Yeah, the
Look at me
steampunk
started on that movie.
the
That was
steampunk
a-
H.G. Wells one, it definitely had its own aesthetic with the nice little dials just
that
rolling
time
around.
machine movie. That was a snooze fest.
Yeah, Guy Pearce was much better in Count of Monte Cristo. That's my favorite role I've ever seen him in. But
Oh, that's
Totally
a good
agree with
movie.
that.
Yeah,
and
that's a
like
good one.
I'm sure Time Machine. A lot of people have told me Time Machine's good. It's like I fell asleep. It may have been good, but it was long.
are you talking about the first one or the one with Guy Pearce?
The one with Guy Pearce.
You're better off watching the one from the 1950s or 60s.
Yeah.
Where it actually had the really cheesy Morlock makeup. That was actually more of a fun time. But that's also because when they did the Eloy, were definitely a bunch of hot 60s girls. So that's good.
I will correct them all.
All right,
You
so-
stole
God,
it.
it's so.
Then you stole it.
And then I stole it. It's called capitalism.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Oh, fuck off!
Okay. Jesus Christ. Like, do none of these people understand capitalism? It's not somebody stealing from someone else. That's not fucking
Oh, hey.
capitalism.
Hey Yeti, if I pay you money for services rendered and you didn't, and I didn't like your price, that's you stealing it. according to capitalism.
You know what? I forgot
But
about
in
this one.
socialism, if we all vote to take your money, that's not stealing because we voted for it.
No, I forgot. Guy Pearce was in that like space prison escape movie. That one was actually a decent watch.
Oh my! Have you gone back and seen that? Like the CGI scene at the end is so it's so bad. Like it is utterly trash, and there is no way they should have put that on film.
Dude, I got a great idea. If Disney hates capitalism so fucking much, why don't they pack everything up and put their headquarters in China?
You know, I feel like Bob Iger was kind of moving towards that.
He should. He should get the fuck out of our country. If he hates capitalism so much, why is he here?
This is well, we know Phoebe Waller-Bridge one of the people writing, and we know she's an activist, like super far left,
and she was the one who
socialist.
She script polished on the last James Bond movie, and you can see the spots where she changed the tone completely. A good example
I didn't even
was
bother watching that because of all the messaging. It was like, fuck this isn't James Bond. Like,
yeah, the message.
Dude, ever since that guy took over, it hasn't been James Bond. I forget the actor's name, but like he's not
Daniel
James
Craig.
Bond.
Yeah.
I like Casino Royale, but everything after that I thought
you like Casino Royale, that's fine. But can you really tell me that he's got the James Bond attitude and swagger and style?
You know, when it was first done and Casino Royale, I was totally behind that, but I have lost so much interest with him, and it doesn't feel like Bond anymore. And I don't know if that's just because of him.
Opinion, but I think Pierce Brosnan was a better James Bond.
Pierce Brosnan was my unpopular opinion is that Pierce Brosnan was the best James Bond.
Real close.
Well, no, that's Sean Connery.
No, Sean Connery was great, but Pierce Brosnan at GoldenEye. GoldenEye is the best James Bond movie ever made.
No, like that's you can't even take away from. No, it's clearly it's Goldfinger.
No,
that is the best one.
GoldenEye because is my favorite.
Because GoldenEye actually has a
Goldfinger.
GoldenEye has a threatening villain. Goldfinger is not as threatening. Oddjob.
It's realistic. It's a realistic villain. Like everything he does, is like, holy shit, that could be pulled off today.
What, Goldfinger is a realistic villain with his painting a woman in 24 karat gold.
Okay, I'm talking about the actual threat of
like as opposed to GoldenEye, where the actual threat is him using an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, to knock out all the electronics, which isn't realistic at all.
I know, but like it's a pure economic move and threat that you could totally see trying to be pulled off. Like
this is a good point. There wasn't actually any gold in Fort Knox, so that's what gets unrealistic.
Are you sure there's no gold in Fort Knox?
That's the rumor that it's been gone for a long time, and that's why we went off the gold standard.
There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
Yeah, that's true. Good reference to Avatar. But no, GoldenEye is definitely the best James Bond movie.
Okay, about half the treasury, stored gold, as well as valuables in other federal agencies, is kept in Fort Knox.
Yeah, if you trust what they tell you.
Yeah, okay.
And they're not going to tell you that kind of thing.
But yeah, it's I don't know, just from the quick Google search, which I'm not going to go further into right now. Right now, it says there's gold there.
Good.
That may be what Russians call military deception.
Yeah, they're called what is it, Potemkin villages, which is a nice old Russian reference.
Goldfinger, like the economic threat, it's terrifying when you look at it as an adult.
There might be some turbulence.
All right, so this
trailer makes it look even worse, if I'm honest.
Oh no, I came out of this trailer thinking this movie is going to be so much worse than I initially imagined it. Like this looks so bad.
You've taken your chances, made your mistakes.
Because you're a man.
Oh look, she's trying to get him to
Oh my god, that is Leah Thomas. That is 100%.
I told you.
Oh, you can't.
Dude, I just can't get over the "that's capitalism" line. I'm really hung up on this. Like,
okay, go back to "that's capitalism." Let's go over that some more then.
like, why? Why? Like, I don't understand why it's even said.
Those
and
are
why
two.
the company Disney, probably the most capitalist corporation in entertainment,
Because it's
Waller. Oh, sorry.
No, the capitalism line is a mashup where it's out of context from the scene. So I want you to pay attention, and you can realize that capitalism is going to be a completely different scene.
I know, but it's still
it's a terrible choice.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge writing this stuff, and you know where she stands on all that crap. Like, she's so hardcore in one direction.
Then you stole it.
And then I stole it. It's called capitalism.
I don't know if that's being.
I don't think that's a mashup.
No, this part is the mashup. I got, this is where they switch.
Yeah,
it's the whipping. That's what threw me off. So if you see right here, they're at the table.
Capitalism.
But those people are all gone by the time he's whipping.
Yeah, so that's a different scene.
That's where the mashup is happening. It threw me off because I was looking at that. So you're right. It's stupid line then. It actually makes the line worse.
It does.
Worse. Because it is in context.
Oh.
All right, we can get back to where we.
I don't wait more time on this than we have to. Oh God.
That is so Leah Thomas.
Now you can't unsee it. I just it's too late. It is. Leah
Thomas. God, this. Okay, I kind of think I gotta make like a tweet about this because that was 100%. That'll go viral, but it'll get you so much shit.
You know what? I'm gonna claim that one.
Oh, fuck you! No,
dude, that's a real strong jaw.
I haven't done anything this relevant in a while, so I got to.
All right, you do it, but just maybe give me credit. Or no, what you know? You just
you better at us in that.
Yeah. Because you're. I mean, I can't believe no one's seen it before. Because look at this. This is.
Holy no! You.
Congratulations on winning female swimmer of the year. Oh, I was the one who said it.
Were you
earlier? Yeah, I was the one who pointed it out in the earlier freeze frame.
I'm not taking credit for it.
Oh, okay.
I see. Like I said, I see a lot of Chad Squidward in there too, though.
Yeah.
Chad, if you want to do the post, I'll tell you how to do it.
No, you do the post, Yeti. You take care of it. I like
I'm gonna get fucking canceled for this.
But at least tweet to you, the people.
Give them hell, Indiana.
Now that's who should be in the Indiana Jones movie.
Dude, I'd rather the movie was about him. I don't care about his goddaughter. Fuck her.
So the whole like Shia LaBeouf thing, that's totally gone now.
Would you like me to tell you what the alleged rumor is? How they're going to do that?
Well, I'm assuming that she's the daughter of his.
No, she's his goddaughter. So the room, remember
how many generations were there?
Well, because goddaughter isn't actually related to you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A goddaughter is someone who is, like, two of my best friends in the Navy are my daughter's godfather.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to be, I think earlier
that's
we
even
saw
worse.
Toby, what is his name? The English actor.
Okay, you look that up. I'm gonna get a drink because fuck this thing and I need it. So I'll be right back.
Because what is his name? Where are you at? He's the one who plays Toby Jones. He plays Armand Zola in Captain America. They showed him earlier as being the Englishman who was with him on the train when they were trying to get the dial in the 1940s.
Yeah, the dial.
So I believe that they're going to make her his daughter. And with that reference, when Indiana Jones says, "Why are you chasing the thing that drove your father insane?" It's going to be calling back to that.
Okay.
I don't like that I'm paying that close attention to it, but it is.
You're paying a lot closer attention than me.
Well, I had seen it earlier when we
I'm
weren't
just
talking over it.
so hung up on that's capitalism. I'm getting so tired of people engaging in capitalist pursuits like, making movies and entertainment and running theme parks and everything else, shitting all over capitalism. It's like, you've benefited a lot from this. Maybe you're not the one to preach this message.
I appreciate that I got noticed for a Chad comment coming from the little Chad. Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, you're right. It's funny because they're sideways mocking it when they still want as many people as possible to pay their money to see this movie so they can make more money.
Yeah, if you hate capitalism so much, just air the movie for free.
Not the guy who would get lost in his own museum as a father. Yeah, so I don't know if he's playing. That was Marcus Brody, who was a beloved character from the earlier Indiana Jones movies. So I don't know if she's supposed to be, or if they're recasting Marcus Brody to be Toby Jones. I'm trying to see if there's an IMDb name for the character Toby Jones is playing. Which doesn't look like they have it yet. Toby Jones is playing Basil, is just the name he's been given, Basil. So that's a good question.
Basil Exposition?
Yes, Toby Jones is in the trailer. So he's definitely not playing Marcus Brody then. So whether she's supposed to be Marcus Brody's daughter and thus his goddaughter, that's a good question. So what's interesting is Marcus Brody was friends with Indiana Jones' father. We saw that in Last Crusade. You remember Marcus Brody was the one who was who got rescued by Sean Connery. And he had the funny line like, "Hey, the pen is mightier than the sword."
I mean, obviously we all remember that, but go on because Slender might not remember as well.
So it would seem odd.
Yeah.
It would seem odd for the daughter to be younger than Indiana Jones when he was his father's age. So it would have to, if it was Marcus Brody's, it would probably be Marcus Brody's granddaughter, I would imagine. Let's see. I thought Brody was shown for a second in the trailer. I must have missed it if he was. I didn't see Marcus Brody.
Then being a godfather doesn't make as much sense, because why would you choose like someone even a generation above? Because like you choose your friend or like somebody that you really trust, and they get known as
anyone the godfather. It's down to who you want the godfather to be.
Yeah, so that's why
usually there's kind of a generational thing, like believing they're going to be alive in 20 years, And
I'm going to be honest, this movie has been reshot so much. It might have originally started with her as being related to Marcus Brody, and they might have changed it. So
yeah, that's also true.
Yeah, so and I'll show you, we're coming up on the line where I think it shows that Toby Jones is supposed to be her father.
A few times in my life I've seen things. I've been tortured with voodoo. Been shot 9 times. Including once by
this music doesn't work.
So right there, okay, so including once by your father when he's talking about getting shot.
And it goes, whoop, whoop.
Once by your father.
And they immediately cut to Toby Jones on the train with him, shooting the gun accidentally into Indiana Jones.
I mean, yeah.
So, nope, I'm wrong. Thought Basil was Brody. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the character who's supposed to be her dad, who was on. You know what? I can see it in the de-aging. Looks right there for the age for like post Last Crusade.
I've got a better question, Chad. Who the fuck cares?
Because up through Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, I loved Indiana Jones. It was
Dude, it seems as though M. Davis, aka our audience right now, cares.
Yeah, so we're
catering to the audience.
Yeah,
I was
all of
in
them.
the audience, and then you're like, "Hey, you want to come on?" Like, I guess so. I'll save your channel.
Or her. I mean, I don't.
That's okay. In return for saving our channel, you can get banned from everything by doing the lead.
Oh my, yeah. I'm trying to work on that, but stay present at the same time. Oh God, I know this is going to be but it's so accurate. It is crazy accurate.
I don't give a shit. Yeah, that's now, Mike. Just
everybody's apparently adopting the Yeti approach and not giving a shit about this trailer. I mean, I never did, so yeah, I'm with you.
Sorry.
But I've been looking for this all my life.
But I thought you weren't looking for this all your life because you gave up on it because it drove somebody else crazy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get out of that.
Remember when writers could write? That was a wonderful time.
So you're talking to a guy who has found the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail, and he's like, "Well, this is what I've really been looking for all my life." What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, if you're an archaeologist who has actually found the two most famous, iconic, holy relics of all time,
yeah, no kidding.
You're gonna be like, yeah.
Yes, you found the Holy Grail. You drank it. You were apparently, that made you younger and it prolonged your life. Then you used it to heal your dying father. But this is what you've been looking for all your life.
Yeah, downhill from finding the Holy Grail.
And don't you think that, like, the person that legitimately found those religious relics, don't you think they'd age better than being some like drunk on his chair?
All right. Well, all right. So I'm going to give you the
like, he found proof of God in several different instances. I don't know how you get better proof.
Okay, so yeah,
he's never going to church.
If you're standing in a platoon full of Yahtzees who then open the Ark of the Covenant and all melt.
Yes.
It's not really faith anymore. That is knowledge.
So yeah,
you had the Holy Grail, which was Jesus's chalice, and you drank from it. And that doesn't change your perspective on life.
I remember when we did the first teaser trailer breakdown, and Slender just ripped that one a new one because the line was like, "I've seen some things in my life, and I know that if you really believe, it'll be true." And Slender was like, "Motherfucker, you've seen like everything. Like, how are you not just a believer?" So, that one was funny. I will tell you, all right, so Yeti, the reason he's supposed to be depressed and not a happy camper, and also how they got around Mutt was the name of Shia LaBeouf's character in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, is that allegedly the script leaks I've seen on Reddit say that they're going to have him get killed off screen in Vietnam, and that's going to be what causes Indiana Jones to be in a depression. So.
Okay, I can totally see that. Like, that would be a valid reason, because if you lose a kid, I can't imagine that type of pain. But on the flip side, you saw that there's like a God, so you know that your kid is in a better place. Like, you have factual information that is shown without a shadow of a doubt that there is some higher power, and your kid, based on all the evidence that you've seen in your life, will be with them and looked after.
Not to mention if anyone is owed a solid by the higher powers, it would probably be Indiana Jones at that point for keeping the Ark of the Covenant on lockdown and keeping the Holy Grail out of basically keeping the Nazis from having both of those things. As the highlighted comment here says, like, as a professor, he'd never have to do anything ever again, and the U.S. government would have him on lockdown working in the secret box storage building. If that wasn't true before, after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, when the Russians come steal him because he's an expert on the interdimensional aliens that they found at Roswell, the government would probably be like, hey, Mr. Jones, you're not going anywhere anymore. We're keeping you here to study.
You get some new friends. We call them Secret Service. They'll be with you everywhere.
You get secret squirrels to watch you 24/7.
But if I remember correctly, though, like, he never officially recovered the Holy Grail.
No, the building collapsed because you couldn't take it past the seal.
Because that old girl wouldn't let go of it, and that's what ended up killing her, right? Because she was like, I can get it. I can reach it. And he's like, it's a bad idea, lady. You're going to die.
Dr. Jones would be the old fart in the librarian spinoff, yeah. I always liked, in the Young Indiana Jones adventures, they actually had, like, Dr. Jones in the 1990s when he would be like a 90-year-old guy. He had an eye patch because he was missing an eye, and he was just putzing around a museum telling stories to kids. I was like, that's what would happen to Indiana Jones. So,
son of a bitch.
So now I'm gonna unleash Slender for his rant. I'm gonna go ahead and.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this now.
I'm gonna let you go. This is a good way to maybe wind up. You're warmed up now. You want to tell everybody what this little meme is about?
So I made this earlier today because apparently they're getting rid of all the half races because according to Wizards of the Coast and their, I'm doing air quotes here, inclusivity readers, the concept of half breeds is inherently racist.
Yeah, that's.
I thought we were letting you do a rant. So
no. You are welcome to jump in on this. I have said a lot on it already.
Oh, this is the most racist bullshit I've ever come across. So they're literally coming out and just saying races have to segregate themselves.
Racial purity. Racial purity.
Yes,
racial
you cannot
purity.
intermingle with each other. This is some Yahtzee shit. This is pure Yahtzee shit. Like how do you look at this and not think you might be racist for like, oh yeah, we can't have intermixing of the bloodlines. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, and the weird thing about it is, and I you know,
yes, they are doing a purity thing.
They're doing a full-on racial purity thing, and the weird thing to me is like, it's a dangerous premise that they're pushing because are you familiar with the saying life imitates art?
Yeah.
The full saying being art imitates life and then life imitates art. Well, I mean, to me, D&D is an artistic avenue, if nothing else. And when you start incorporating these kinds of things into your art, you're playing a dangerous game because eventually that art gets imitated by life. But it really is just two steps forward, one step back with Yahtzee, right? Or with Yahtzee. Although Yahtzee, Nazi, WotC, they all sound kind of similar. I don't think that's a coincidence. But it's two steps forward, one step back. They managed to give us a decent movie, and then to, go back to one of the things you were talking about earlier, Yeti, they dove right back into that DEI dumpster to bring us some trash.
Oh, they're becoming massive racists. Like they attribute orcs to being black people, which I don't know how you get there. I thought it was some mythical monster, not black people. Like that is.
I don't know, but they are.
How do you think that and not and this
one
is one
could
of my favorite
argue they're
things.
the most racist corporation in America right now.
This is one of my favorite things when I go on Twitter and there's people dealing with like they saying how this is all racist and like, oh, I can't believe you're using orcs. That's just like that's just saying black people are like this. You go and you start to talk to them is like, so you're telling me you see this orc and you think they're black? Like, how racist are you? And you just twist the story on them and then put back their own line of thinking, and like they shut down they mute all their tweets, they delete everything because they can't. As soon as you point out the flaw in their logic, they lose their minds.
Yeah. Well, but I know this is gonna bring jokes again, but the funny thing is, if you actually read about like some of the orc culture in the lore, it seems much more closely to me to resemble Native American or even Pacific Islander cultures. So
Racist.
I'm just saying, like, if I had to guess what cultures inspired the orc cultures, and I don't know where they're getting black people out of that. I don't remember there being a whole lot of African tribes. Maybe some, but if I remember correctly, there weren't any cannibalistic African tribes. Now, certain Pacific Islander tribes were very cannibalistic, so much so that some of the things that they do, like when they stick their tongue out at people, that was their way of saying, we're going to eat you after we kill you. Like that was kind of their war cry.
Ugh.
Yeah, like they would show their tongue to their opponents to let them know, after we kill you, we're eating you. So Pacific Islander culture could be part of what influenced the concept as well. It just depends. Like
I still don't see that. Like I see it more as
well, and it's not like a culture that exists today either. It's like looking at ancient cultures and then you taking some inspiration from that to develop a fictional culture. And I don't know why they're stopping here at half orcs and half elves. You know, there's another monster race in D&D called the Yuan-ti. The Yuan-ti are snake people. They generally break down into 3 different breeds. You know what one of those breeds are called? Half-bloods. I wonder if they're getting rid of half-bloods too.
Well, doesn't that mean they're going to have to get rid of a bunch of other races? Like, isn't like tiefling, that's a mix? Like, so that's a half race?
Yeah.
Do they have to get rid of that?
Tieflings technically, they can manifest. Tieflings and Aesir are kind of this way. They can manifest in, like, if they have 2 human parents, it could still manifest in the child because it was somewhere in the bloodline previously. It's like
no, but like the original race of tiefling was just because of racial mixing, right?
No, tieflings have demonic or fiend blood.
Oh yeah, but that's so there's still a mix between demon and something else, right?
Yes,
that created it.
Yes,
so that's half, right?
That is true.
So by the way that they're setting this up, you can't have that because they are.
No, you got to get rid of half orcs. You got to get rid of half elves. You got to get rid of Yuan-ti because Yuan-ti are broke out into purebloods, half bloods, and abominations. So they have 3 different castes of Yuan-ti. You got to get rid of tieflings, Aesir. You got to get rid of.
They haven't thought this through at all.
No,
whoever decided this, I don't think.
Dude, no more centaurs. No more centaurs. No more Tauric anything.
Wait, so does that mean Mad can no longer play as a disabled centaur with the wheels for hind legs?
He definitely, that would be racist, Yeti, and we can't do that.
I believe the correct term would also be ableist. It would also be ableist.
No, wouldn't it be? No, it'd be ableist not to have him
the
play
concept of somebody breeding with a horse to create a half man, half horse is inherently racist, just like the concept of somebody breeding with an elf to create a half man, half elf.
Well, here's a fun comment. I guess the bards will have less to do since they can't cross species woo. So,
I mean,
there goes the dragon banging.
I feel like the bards are going to have more to do because now they don't have to worry about it.
That's true. Like,
it's like there's no more ramifications for when they fuck the dragon.
No more condoms. You got free use.
Oh, don't you know you can't get pregnant, so it's okay. It's like,
But
oh
no,
no.
this is just it's dumb as hell, just like everything else. It's it's ironic to me too that they call them inclusivity readers, and yet the only thing I've seen the inclusivity readers do is recommend excluding more and more of D&D.
Oh, God, they're doing this to everything too. They're changing all of oh shit. Okay. Oh, this is gonna bug me.
That was one of the
The
funnier
writer,
lines
the
from
famous female writer,
the
mystery
movie.
writer.
Famous female writer. Ah,
There's only one. It's her name's J.K. Rowling.
yeah.
No, she was.
You know,
long before.
she also wrote mysteries. Are you thinking of Agatha Christie?
Yes, yeah. So they're going back.
So there's been two.
Rewriting all of her books, and doing it through sensitivity readers.
Oh, they're fixing it.
Well, I can guarantee you that I know one because there was a very bad title for one of her books.
Oh, do tell.
And then there were none.
I'm waiting.
It was, it was based on the, like catch a tiger by the tail. I'm trying. Let me think of the original nursery rhyme. Agatha Christie, and then
we're waiting for you to say it live, Chad.
I'm not going to say it live.
Oh, because you gotta say it. We'll clip it.
No, because it's 10 little somethings that I'm never going to say that word ever on any context.
Is this one of those words with a hard R?
It is. I do a Google search for "and then there were none."
Oh, I'd rather not.
And then go to the Wikipedia pages. Go ahead and look for it.
So do we say like Slender?
No. You can say the hard R.
No, that's only Mr. Grant Gregory gets to do it that way.
Yeah,
because I know you said no hard R's, so I feel like
no, my name is fine. With my name, it's fine. That is the one time when I will allow a hard R.
No, I don't
Yeti
trust
and
it
Slender,
anymore.
have either of you gone and Googled "and then there were none"?
No, I'm not gonna. I know exact now that
I think I know what it says.
Yeah, I've figured it out. I've put the pieces of the puzzle together, little Chad.
Yeah, and that was that was published as
it wasn't a hard. It wasn't a hard puzzle. It was like one designed for 3.
No, it was
four pieces that you have to stick together.
It wasn't a hard puzzle, but it was a hard R on the title. That's what it was.
Boo,
it came out in 1939.
I expected better jokes from you.
Came out in 1939, so it wasn't exactly like an 1800s book either. So, I guess over in England it wasn't as offensive.
God, like I'm hovering over this tweet and I don't know if I want to do it anymore.
Are you doing the Leah Thomas one?
Yeah, I'm
please do it.
it.
Do it. Do it. Do the Palpatine. Do it.
You won't.
Oh my God.
Did you do it?
I haven't yet. Like it's
no
right
balls.
Here. Pardon? Oh, no balls.
Oh,
you just know this is going to cause an issue. Like
I'm ready to retweet it once it comes out.
I don't know if it'll cause an issue, but I know you got no balls.
Oh, you son of a like. Here, I'll show you. So yeah, I've just got it with. I can't unsee this. That was just the tweet. Then I got the 2 pictures.
There we go. I think it's perfectly valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
I said it, so I have to, because it originated with me stopping the frame on the trailer and being like, "Hey guys,
I know.
I just noticed something."
And I don't know why I was so quick to go, no, I want that tweet.
Yeah. And look, I'll retweet it and tag people and take some of the blame. It'll be all right.
I don't know if that. See, that doesn't help me at all. Like, because that just means I just stole it from you. Like,
well, for once, it's not Matt editing out your jokes, so that works.
Oh,
I feel like the Caddyshack meme would be great. Well, we're waiting.
I know, like I'm staring at this tweet. I'm just like, ugh. I can see like pain and agony in my future just by hitting send. Because you just know it goes that way.
Or you could just not bother looking back in on it for a couple of days, and the pain and agony will have already passed without you having anything to worry about. Or are you one of those people who, after you post something, you have to go back and look every 2 minutes to see how much traction it's got?
No, I got over that a little while ago. After I changed the entire news cycle for a week, I got over looking at it to see how well the traction was doing.
Yeah, you gotta be able to just let that shit ride.
Well, after you can, change the entire news cycle for like North America, you kind of just don't care anymore because you're never going to hit that pinnacle again from a tweet,
Well, then it doesn't matter. Fire this one off.
Well, because this one they're giving like this type of stuff. They're threatening. Like that one girl that said that girls should play girl sports was like assaulted and kidnapped.
She was on a university campus when that happened.
Yeah,
you're going to a university, Yeti?
Not right now. Are you?
No, I'm 40.
So no longer picking up chicks there.
No, I do that at the high school.
Slender's like Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused. He's like, I get older, but they stay the same.
Man, I keep getting older. They stay the same age.
I think, oh man, I don't know if I can hit send right now. Why are we just waiting on me to do this? We can talk about this after the whole stream is over.
I like what we're doing here. I like how we're waiting and making you uncomfortable.
Oh, this is a banger of a tweet, though. That like that's the thing that like that gets me more like, oh my god, I know this is a good tweet.
Just fire and forget, man. Just fire and forget.
Because they won't let you forget this. That's
but you're not going to run into these people out in the real world.
I don't know. They try to find you. They try to like dox you.
Are they going to find your cave?
I don't know. They might.
Oh, they're in the wilderness. These people can't go 5 minutes away from the city without dying. They just shrivel up if they lose that global wireless. If they don't have a Starbucks where they can buy an $8 cup of coffee within 2 minutes walk, they just lose it.
I mean that's true. Oh god.
But no, I mean the Wizards of the Coast thing is just silly to me. And I'm really hoping since I've recently been asked by some of our fellow people in the sphere to DM, I'm really hoping we can do something custom that doesn't involve too much Wizards of the Coast, and I'll just use the core D20 rules.
Well, I mean, yeah, we could just can't we just make up whatever we want? Like
we kind of can. Mad mentioned some things he was hoping to do earlier today when he was on another podcast, and they've given me some ideas. I still think it's going to be a custom thing, a bit of a homebrew of my own making, but I have a much better idea of where he wants to take it. So hopefully when we do a session 0 tomorrow.
I tried to say something. I don't know if I can make it tomorrow because we're doing.
Well, then we might have to backfill you because I don't know that we'll get everybody out all at once.
Whoa. I don't need to hear about backfilling Yeti on our podcast.
Well, the only thing about backfilling Yeti is you always got to do it twice.
Oh, deep lore, Yeti lore. That's as Brahma would say, the Yeti lore. All right. Has it tweeted out yet? Because as you may have noticed on screen, we're waiting.
We are waiting.
Okay. Oh, fuck you guys.
But
there. I hit it. I hit it, you motherfucker. Okay.
Oh man, I'm gonna make sure that I'm.
Little Chad is already on that shit.
Yeah, I told you.
He was like, there wasn't a second that went by. I think it was
as soon as you said it was done, I hit refresh and was ready. In fact, let's.
I don't know. I feel like we should get like Matt in here.
I immediately responded to
you motherfucker. You're a son of a bitch. Oh Jesus. Like, so this stream can no longer, like, this has to go down afterwards.
This stream?
Yeah, because there can't be proof of all this. No, we should get Matt in here and the other guys, and try and get them in here right now to do a session 0. There was a YouTube channel that did their own. I think they had their own kind of mechanics, and they would do stories based on different properties. So they did a Hogwarts one. They did, I think, like Dune and like you name it, any of the fantasy or sci-fi things, and they had their own mechanics that they just basically applied to every property. And it would take, like, if you're trying to do something hard, it would take a certain amount of like fate points, and you only had
you're getting more love, Yeti.
Yeah, so you had like a certain amount of fate points or something like that you started out with, and the DM decided how much you used in order to do something. So it wasn't like you had to come up with different classes. It was just very heavily into the role playing.
Yeah, there's some things that'll have to be discussed in the session 0, and if you can't make it, that's an easy backfill. But I kind of assume we'll probably lean a little harder on the role play side of things, just because if we are trying to make content out of this, it'd be really boring to watch like a 2-hour battle. So,
yeah, well, that's
some adjustments will be made to streamline.
Yeah, so that's all on you. The pressure's on you. If it turns out bad, it's your fault.
Oh, don't worry. It won't be my fault. And I'm hoping that this turns out highly successful, because with all the mean things you say to me, Yeti, I am going to torment you.
What? When have I ever said anything mean? When? I am the kindest. I'm always like, oh, hey, we got to get Slender in here. Isn't that right, Chad? I was talking about how good Slender is, and he's just like the nicest guy.
Yeti is probably the most kind-hearted person when we do the movies with Mad and other things. It's sad because we are not as kind-hearted. I do feel bad for Yeti, because especially when Mad edits out his jokes and steals them. So
Mad has never edited out a Yeti joke. He doesn't make any good jokes.
I am going to murder you. Oh wait, no, I can't say that anymore.
You're gonna get his team mounted. Oh wait, never mind.
No, I was more worried about you being a DM and making death threats against the DM.
No, it should be fun. I'm looking at some tools. If anybody watches this video and hears this part of the conversation and wants to recommend a tool, I'm leaning toward what's it called? Fantasy Grounds? Yeah, I'm leaning toward Fantasy Grounds as the tool of choice right now.
I am so disappointed Like I thought this thing was going to blow up really, really fast, and there's like no traction on it. So I think I'm like dead on Twitter. I used to be popular. Now I'm
it also depends on the time. It's 11 p.m. Eastern, and it sometimes takes a second for that stuff to.
Oh man, no!
I think Friday night when everybody's out watching Mario.
Oh,
and they are from the box office.
Yeah,
my Mario roast isn't doing that good. I'm a little disappointed.
All right, but we're clear 2 hours now. Let's wrap this thing up. What
I think.
I thought we were talking about the start at the what was going on. You said you had something like, "Oh, you guys can wrap up if you want." I wanted to hear more.
I was just, like I said, I'm leaning toward Fantasy Grounds. If anyone has recommendations or arguments as to why I should do something else, i.e., Roll20 or the Foundry or any of the others, I'd love to hear it because I've only done some research, but so far it's looking like Fantasy Grounds is the one I want to see.
Okay. Well, I can tell you one reason because Matt and I both know how to use Roll20, and learning new stuff is hard.
Yeah. Well, we're in the process of wrapping up, but thanks for hanging out. It was good to our audience here. So you've used Roll20 before, Yeti?
Yeah, with the Loading Crew and Literature Devil. We were always on Roll20.
Yeah, I was messing around with a little. It just seems like if I want to do some really custom stuff, it'll be easier to do that in Fantasy Grounds, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I've never used it, so I honestly have no idea how easy it is or how different it is. I know nothing about that.
I'll show you a little bit after we wrap up.
Okay. Dungeon Craft has his own system, said
yeah, I have seen that on the list as well.
Yeah, it'll be good stuff. All right, let's do our normal end of show thing, which is Nielsen ratings, where The Mandalorian is still shitting the bed. It's coming in at like 6th behind the
and
plane
this is a
that
couple
disappeared.
Weeks ago, so this isn't even with the newest episodes dropping.
So this was the March 6th through 12th. I think this was the episode where everybody was falling all over themselves because there was a mythosaur and the Mandalorian was in the water, blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
So we got to just keep checking back in on the Mandalorian because I imagine
it's not growing. No, I mean, The Last of Us is trouncing it, but look at this. The plane
South Park is still climbing. South Park has made a resurgence.
They got, and look at this, the Chris Rock. Remember that I told you that that it's a 1-episode comedy special.
Yep.
Yeah, that for that to be
pushed up even more. Who knows?
For that to be ranking, look, that is one comedy special is doing almost as much as the Mandalorian's 2 and a few episodes worth of season 3 are doing.
Are you able to show what it was side by side between last week, like what the change was?
No, the Nielsen's only put up I don't pay for their. If you pay for the Nielsen service, you can start doing that stuff. I just go with what they publicly.
Couldn't you also just like hit the
Wayback
paint? No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, do a screenshot.
Screenshot, put it in Paint, and then you're done.
Yeah, I guess we should do that. So we could probably do that.
Because I don't remember. I feel like you just changed something.
I changed it to just so that was the overall number.
Oh, okay.
On the original show, because that means as we've talked about before, The Last of Us is technically an acquired show for HBO Max, and so it doesn't show up as an original. It's The Mandalorian. You can see. And Netflix just dominates. Netflix.
Does anyone know what Outer Banks is? I've never watched
it. Is Outer Banks is like basically like a Hallmark Channel show on Netflix where it's just a old middle-aged woman moving back to a community in the Outer Banks and having Hallmarky type show episode content.
What, seriously? That's what it is? No, there's no way it's that popular. Like, I thought there was going to be some sci-fi stuff. I saw one of the actresses. She looked hot, so it didn't look like some middle-aged Crisis.
All right. Outer Banks is an American. Oh, wait, you're right. Action, adventure, mystery, teen drama streaming series. I guess. Okay. So never mind. It's basically Riverdale.
So the total opposite of what you were saying it was.
There's another show. What's the one am I thinking of? Is it called The River or something? There's another show that Netflix has that just does giant ratings. That's like a Hallmarky type show. I think that one might be.
I think that one is actually Chris Rock's Selective Outrage, right? That's pretty Hallmark.
That's true. And get Will Smith's wife's name out your damn mouth.
Okay. Oh, we got to stop. History of the World Part 2 is already out.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. So yeah.
Okay, I am so disappointed. We have not heard anything about this. I haven't seen any advertisements. Like this is fucking Mel Brooks. This is Mel Brooks. How is this not being talked about? Because History of the World Part 1 was awesome. I haven't seen this. I didn't even know it was out. This is Mel Brooks. How is this not front and center? Like, is it that bad?
It's probably Mel because Brooks, it's Hulu. Like,
it's Mel Brooks though.
Yeah, but like, Hulu is not like it's a heavy hitter, but it's like the lightest of the heavy hitters, you know?
Okay, but they didn't put advertising out into, oh yeah, Mel Brooks has finally come back and finished or added to History of the World. He's wrote a script or did another movie after how many years of hiatus. Like I don't remember the last big one he did, but I think it's been a while.
What was it, like Dracula Dead and Loving It or some crazy thing from the 90s?
Like it feels like this is something that feels like it should be a much bigger deal. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way about Mel Brooks or what?
I know I love Mel Brooks, but I think
Robin Hood Men in Tights I've probably watched 100 times.
Of course you choose the worst one of all of them.
Whatever. I love that one.
Robin Hood Men in Tights is classic.
And it's got my boy from The Princess Bride, so it's even better.
Unlike other Robin
Hoods, he can speak with an English accent.
Yep. The original History of the World is one of my favorite comedy movies of all time. The History of the World Part 1 is it's so hilarious. And it's one of those movies where they couldn't make it at all today.
And now for Hitler on ice.
Or even like it's such an compared to the rest of the movie, it's such an innocuous scene, but it makes me laugh is when it's in ancient Rome and where Mel Brooks is in the line for unemployment. And he goes up to the window and she's like, "What are you?" And he's like, "I'm a stand-up philosopher." And she's like, "Oh, a bullshit artist. Did you bullshit today? No. Did you bullshit last week? No. Did you try to bullshit? Yeah. All right. Well, here's your unemployment."
That's good.
It's such a perfect like philosophy is bullshit. Yeah. So, and then let's not even get into when they get to the French Revolution with it's good to be the king. That line is classic and it's stood the test of time and people don't even know where it's from anymore. They probably think it's a LeBron James reference or something. But
who?
The King James, LeBron James. Yeah.
No idea who that is.
Oh, really?
You don't know anything about basketball, huh?
A hoop ball? No, that's garbage.
Yeah. So
I
don't. And when they announced History of the World Part 2, and they were like Wanda Sykes and all these other people are going to be a part of it, I was like, no, I'm kind of checked out.
I did hear that. That made me like that. That killed interest.
Dude, Wanda Sykes, Seth Rogen, they've got a couple in there that it's just like,
oh shit, Seth Rogen again. Why is he in everything now? He's terrible. He does the same thing. He does Seth Rogen as Seth Rogen. Is garbage.
Well, I believe in History of the Rogan, Seth Rogen is he plays Seth Rogen with a fuzzy white beard building an ark.
Oh God. And I saw Wanda Sykes. She did a stand-up comedy. It might have been on Netflix. I don't think I made it 5 minutes in. I was just like, this thing is hot garbage. There's nothing funny about it.
Yeah,
Man, now I'm disappointed.
The only thing better than the one, that makes the Wanda Sykes comedy special look better would have been the one girl from Australia. Is it a girl?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, what's her name? I have totally blanked on that. Ooh. I know who you're talking about.
Your tweet is getting some more traction. So that's good.
It's only at 10.
Yeah, but you've gotten a couple people who've got good sized Twitter followings who liked it, so that'll show up in their feed now too.
Yeah, they liked it. They didn't retweet it though.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah, because you got to get that quote tweet. The quote tweet that value about valuable. Ooh, it's like a hit of heroin. She's like, oh, they quote tweeted. Oh,
it's such.
You joke.
It's the dopamine. It's the dopamine hit.
There are some studies on that. All right, guys, let's wrap it up.
All right, yeah. So we covered everything. All right, so let me stop sharing. We've confirmed now The Mandalorian is not doing so good, and Disney's really great to just try to push out more Mando content. I'm sure Dave Filoni is going to do wonders for him. So
oh God, I honestly, that is going to be the biggest movie flop of all time. I don't see there being a new resurgence like with The Force Awakens. Like so many people went to go see that, and then they start to check out, especially after The Last Jedi. Like everything just started to go down.
The Force Awakens,
hard.
Everybody lied to themselves. Like so many people were like, "Oh, it was really, really good." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, I went and watched it, and I was like, it wasn't that good.
Well, here's the thing. It was something you could see being built on. Like I remember seeing it going.
It was good enough, is what a lot of people were saying, and it was like, I'm not seeing it. So it's not going to get there.
I saw it like, they're kind of redoing A New Hope. They're like setting it up like that.
No, they're exactly redoing A New Hope. It's like we're making another Death Star, but this one blows up multiple solar systems at a time.
Oh God, that was such. But there is enough in there that I'm like, there's something interesting could come out of here. So I was okay. I was totally fine with it. Now, when you go back and you see what it led to, it makes it that much worse. But at the time when you didn't know the garbage coming down the pipes, it was okay. It was like, they're just resetting up the world for a new audience. Okay, I can get on board with that.
Have you gone back since and watched that first one again?
Oh God, no. But that's what I'm saying.
If you go back and watch episode 7 again, now that you know what you know, you don't have those rose-tinted glasses of I haven't seen a new Star Wars movie in years. I really want to see this.
It's awful.
It's a terrible movie
because it does nothing.
It kills off one of the most beloved characters in the franchise. It shits all over his legacy. It breaks him up with the woman that, in the original trilogy was the whole reason he came back.
Yeah.
Like it destroys everything about the original trilogy, and it introduces you to insufferable new characters that are like they don't deserve to walk in the shadow of the people that they follow.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. There was especially now, given everything, it's even worse. But just at that moment in time, you're like, okay, there's some flaws here. There's a couple issues that could get fixed around. Like, you're thinking, oh, just wait, like remember how good Empire was after A New Hope. There was like that thought. It's like, okay, they can fix those kinks and then they can give us something like just incredible, really hit home. Oh, but that's not what happened.
Yeah, a lot of wishful thinking, I think, is what happened.
Yeah, so but
If
now
you wanna
everybody
s-
knows that.
If
Like
you like
this,
the best example of that wishful thinking was like Star Wars Theory in his channel on YouTube. He's a great guy and he does great content, but you could see how much like he was pouring so much time and effort into like theories and what's going to come up and what's going to happen with these sequels. And then after The Last Jedi, it was like, well, fuck. I guess that all sucks.
nothing
Then.
means anything.
Nothing means anything. There was no point, and it was you could just hear it in his voice when he was like,
Oh,
you know, because I remember watching
Dude,
those
I
videos
had
like,
a
who
friend
is
who was-
Snoke? What's this? What's that?
I had a friend who was really fixated on a specific detail because I never watched the third one.
no, I haven't. Will
After
not-
Luke died, I was fucking done.
Oh god, yeah, I'm with you, Slender.
But I
won't-
asked
won't
this
watch it.
friend, I was like, "So what do you think about them killing off Luke Skywalker?" And my friend, he said to me, he's like, "I don't think he's dead." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I don't think he's dead. Luke Skywalker has a robotic arm. If he had died, it would still be there on the table because
Oh,
the Force
shit.
doesn't reclaim the robotic
my
arm." I'm
God,
like,
that's a good
no, they're
point.
just terrible editors who don't understand the fucking lore that they're working with.
Oh my
Like,
god.
no,
like,
I think Luke's gonna be back. I was like, oh, I hope you're right. He wasn't.
oh, okay. So that reminds me of when we were going into season 8 of Game of Thrones, and there was a whole bunch of the theories that people putting it together, and there was one that I got like really into, and it was Littlefinger being kind of a mastermind and not really dying and stuff like that. And they had all these points where there was coins and whispers, and it looked so interesting. It was so believable the way they found all these little details in the show.
And
then
instead, you got a
this eight.
Starbucks cup.
you just like, oh,
But we all
they
see
don't
him get his
care.
throat slit. Now, I have a theory that
he had there's a whole explanation for that because of the faceless man. Because
Well,
you see someone and you
here's the
think
thing.
they're paying a faceless man.
Here's the thing. I have a theory that the dance instructor was the faceless man. Because as we know, and this is something that never came to fruition in the series, but as we know, they did not shy away from showing you everyone gruesomely killed when it was time for them to die. Except for the dance instructor, who we never saw die. We saw Arya run out of the room and then heard screams and the sounds of fighting.
Well, okay, but that's also because the way the narrative was told, it was from her perspective, so she can't see it, so you can't show it.
That has never stopped them from killing someone before in gruesome fashion on screen. And furthermore, right after she parted ways with the dance instructor, that's when she met the first guy who set her on the path to the faceless.
I mean, that's true. And that'd be so interesting. Oh god, okay. One of the worst threads. This gets me fired up because I was so into that show and the narrative. It was so well told and woven together, and then just fell apart. But the one woman who was like the fortune teller, you didn't really see her face. She was never brought up again. Like, she makes this prediction, and there's like this underlying thing. I think it happens in season
It was like
1.
the Jenny, whatever, the one who does the prediction. Yeah.
And,
Are you
nothing
talking
ever
about?
comes from that. It
Are
was
you
just
talking about like the
dead.
one that was talking? Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah, they didn't follow through on anything.
Oh,
no, they really didn't. And honestly, like, I was really liking season 7 and the direction that
Seriously?
they were setting everything up to go.
Oh my god, really?
But then in season 8, like, as soon as they started rolling into the long night, it just all fell apart completely.
No, man, it fell apart in season 7. If you go back and rewatch season 7, and I was when I was watching, like, okay, this is not good, but I still kept excitement because I'm like, oh, they're just trying to set things up for season 8.
Well, that's
to
the
tie
thing.
it all together.
That's the
really
thing. I did not think season 7 was one of the most action-packed or awesome or moving seasons, but everything in season 7 was setting up for an awesome season 8. And then they pulled away from everything they'd set up.
But it's still all the flaws of why season 8 failed are front and center in season 7. Like the entire travel mechanism
they were
is
so
broken.
That's Yeti.
They didn't follow through on any of the stuff they set up.
Yeti nailed the real thing. Remember in season 1, it took them fucking like 5 episodes to get from Winterfell to King's Landing.
Yeah.
As they were traveling.
And then they're teleporting all over the place.
And then by season 7 and 8, they're goddamn teleporting with dragons from Dragonstone all the way to the goddamn wall, past the wall to save,
they tell the one guy, okay, run. Like, have you guys seen this map? It like you can't just run with a giant fucking hammer at your side.
They turned
Game of Thrones into a goddamn video game where you had save points where you could fast travel.
But then they do the long night, and it's like you put your cavalry in front of your infantry who are outside the wall. Like
it was.
If I were Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen, I would have all the generals brought before me at the conclusion of that battle and execute them on the spot. Because the tactical soundness of the things that were done in that battle was absolute horseshit.
Oh man, yeah, I'm with you, but I'm still thinking about all the.
Well, it does make tactical sound. Here's how it can be tactically sound: when you can respawn your entire Dothraki army after they die,
right? Like
that's how it makes tactical sense.
The darkness and die.
Yeah, you get like, hey, if I can hit, if my 10,000 Dothraki army gets wiped out, and then I can just wait 2 days and they respawn, so I can go on to King's Landing. Why wouldn't I just put them out there?
It's like when you're playing a Civilization and your unit has like 4 guys, but then like you've lost most of your health, so there's only 1 guy left, and it's like, oh, I'll just have him fortify for the next 3 or 4 turns, and then it'll be 4 guys again.
Like, yeah, all the flaws were so front and center in season 7, especially with Tyrion Lannister. Like the dialogue that was coming out of his mouth was so asinine and garbage. There's no nuance. Him with what's it like the spider? Yeah, they used to have these like great philosophical, witty back and forths, and now
the whole spider turning on Daenerys thing was like really forced. It didn't make any fucking sense to me that he would just turn on a dime like that.
It was
he turned out to be right. That was
he did turn out to be right, but the whole like there was a lot of stuff that they kind of were setting up for in season 8, and then like that they either A, backed away from it because they were afraid to follow through, or B, they pulled the trigger way too fast because like Daenerys going crazy. They didn't set that up enough.
Oh, that was not set up in any way, shape, or form. That it was like she saw one person die and then flips out.
Yeah. Like I said, they didn't set that up enough. And these are critical in your execution of what is going to be the final climax of the entire storyline.
Well, you don't cross Queen Karen. She's going to see the manager of King's Landing and burn it all down. Is what she's going to do.
when your finale can be solved with getting this bitch a Snickers bar, it's bad writing.
Yeah, McQueen, have this Snickers bar. You're not yourself when you're hungry.
Like that was the extent of her anger. She got a little hangry, and then
like losing that one dragon to a fucking. To an arbalist mounted to the front of a ship. How did that fucking ship sneak up on you?
Yeah,
oh my god,
flying out over the ocean. How did you not see that coming?
And how were you not flying high enough that you don't get hit? Like, when you're trying to fly away,
what were they powering those arbalists with? Because holy shit,
when you're trying to fly away, go up. Like these things don't have. like gravity still works. If you go up, those things can't hit you anymore. Don't go lower where they can get you.
And how have people not figured out lateral movement? Like it's gonna come up in a straight line, so bank.
Yeah, so go around to the back and then take him out.
Which is funny because when they showed her destroying the entire navy that was left in King's Landing, all she had to do, she came sideways in at the boats and bam, she killed them all and nothing could touch her. And it was like, wow, isn't that amazing that you realize that if I just turn, they won't be able to hit me with these
Which is weird that they didn't have like all the boats mounted with those things and maybe put them on, I don't know, a rotating turret of some kind.
God, like
we know they had one because they had one in the wagon that was on a rotating turret.
Yeah, because when Braun had one, he could spin it around, which made it's like there's no consistency. It was
a shot.
So the peak was it peak for me. Peak of Game of Thrones was where the season finale was
season
Tyrion. Was that the season where Tyrion killed the dad on the toilet and then left?
Pretty sure that's season 5.
Yeah, because that was when he did the trial by combat and the mountain just killed Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
that was peak Game of Thrones. That was its best season. That was the high point, and then from there everything was kind of going a little lower.
Here's my thing, and I know a lot of people disagree with me because most of the people in this world, including you guys, are sick fucks at this point. But in season 7, they were setting it up where all the bad guys were probably going to get what they deserved, and all the good guys were finally not going to keep getting fucked over at every turn.
No, but it was still setting up for that. All like, okay, here. I keep meaning to make this point and getting set off on some other tangent because there's so much bullshit. But okay, if you take a look at their writing, and this shows you why so much of it failed. They released the script of the last episode, and in that script, they say why the dragon melted the throne. Like,
we already know
it because
about
it was like angry and was upset and blamed the throne for his.
He blamed the throne.
The throne made her crazy.
No, not made her crazy. It thought the sword on the throne stabbed her and killed her, so it was angry and breathed fire and left. Not because of all these other more believable options, like she got stabbed by a dude that was standing right beside her. No, she fell and slipped on the goddamn throne, and that killed her. And so it was angry, then flew away. The dragons are supposed to be highly intelligent. Like, so did she just have like a Fertata dragon?
Were the dragons supposed to be highly intelligent? I didn't know if they explored that aspect of the lore of dragons in this world.
As far as I know, I mean, if a horse wouldn't believe the throne was the thing that caused it, a dragon sure wouldn't.
Okay, but I mean, yeah, you say that's in the script, but there's nothing indicating why the dragon melted the throne in the actual thing. And furthermore, like highly intelligent by what standards? By animal standards? Like, or are dragons supposed to be nearly as intelligent or more intelligent than humans in this world? Like, highly intelligent is pretty vague. There's not a big qualifier there.
Yeah, so I cannot answer that part because I don't have the answer. As like I seem
now you're talking Dungeons and Dragons, then those are highly intelligent dragons. They can speak, they can do magic. They're like, they are intelligent creatures.
So I don't know where the intelligence falls on dragons in that world, but you have to assume that the intelligence is, higher than a dog's, right? And dogs can be very clever, right? We've all seen super clever dogs. It's got to be better than that.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think that's a stretch, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that the writers thought this was the best way to go, and that was the rationale behind the dragon doing this, it shows you how poor their writing skills were, and why season 7 was so bad, season 8 was so bad, most of 6. But 6, I know George R.R. Martin kind of gave them like a little bit of a guide for that season. Now,
well, when they were doing season 8, George R.R. Martin also told them, you're going to need more than one season to finish this up. And they were like, nah, we got that Disney money coming in. We got to get out of here.
Oh, yeah. that is, yeah, they want to keep it going. And that is a show that really could have done well longer term, like, especially with what they're trying to pull off.
I think the last season was extremely rushed. I think season 7, it wasn't a great season, but it was setting up for what I thought was going to be a lot of big payoffs, because I like when the heroes win and the bad guys lose. And it was finally starting to move in that direction where, like, I never thought that Jaime Lannister was supposed to go back to Cersei so that they could die together at the end.
Oh, God.
I thought there was some extremely well done foreshadowing where Jaime explains the reason he became the Kingslayer in the first place. And then you see Cersei do exactly what Jaime said made him turn his back on the first king. So I thought there was going to be that moment where he had an opportunity to save her or even speak up on her behalf.
Well, yeah, because it took away all the nuance.
Turn his back and walk out of the room because he was not protecting her anymore.
Yeah, there was so much wrong, and man, okay.
Like I said, they turned away from a bunch of big payoffs, or they pulled the trigger on them too quick.
No, okay. Here's the part where I think I disagree with you, and then I go back to it being all about the writing, because season 1 to 4, they had like the same amount of episodes. It might have been 10 episodes, but when you work out the time, because some of those episodes were hour and a half in season 8, it's like the same amount. But the story that was told in those seasons pulled off so much more than what season 8 did. So it wasn't that it was rushed. It's that the people couldn't pull it off in 8 episodes there. Where if it was the same writing as was done previously, you could have done it in that time frame. They just weren't capable of setting up the different scenes to make that happen. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think you could have wrapped up that much story in that time frame. I think, like George R.R. Martin said, I think they needed another season. But they didn't want to do another season because they were trying to get their asses out the door so they could go get some of that Disney money.
And then that bombed so hard.
I think
and that's what happens when you rush that shit, you know?
Yeah. They set themselves up as gods in Hollywood, and they destroyed it in a matter of months.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard that is? Like, they took
It's almost like they went to the edge of the world and they pissed it all away.
Oh, nice reference. Got on top of the wall and just did it. Yeah.
So they didn't just destroy their own legacy. They took something where it was so well regarded and talked about around everyone. Everyone discussed it. It was around the water cooler, and it was with your friends and family. There was all this discussion, and then instantly everybody forgot about it within a week.
Because there was no fantasy science fiction going on anymore. It was all futuristic sci-fi. There was no fantasy. Yeah. It revived fantasy.
And they made it so that nobody spoke about the series ever again. I'm sure this is the longest anyone has talked about Game of Thrones online in like 6 years. You know? I don't remember when the series last one was. It was so
probably been too long that we've been talking about it, because we're pushing 3 hours now.
Oh, jeez. Man, it gets me so fired up. I'm sorry if I just dragged you guys into a new discussion altogether.
I mean, content's content. I don't think we're going to complain about it, but we are going to end the broadcast now. Bye, everybody.
So I just I don't want to talk to this asshole anymore.